They're all doing well, but it's a 5-hour drive down here if I bring the babies. Just eats my whole day up, so.
And I guess babies sleep in the car, right?
Sometimes he sleep the whole way here, and sometimes he screams the whole way here. You just never know.
Baby does baby things, right?
Yeah.
Here we go.
These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Welcome into the program, Tuesday edition. Eddie Bader's here in the studio, as is Byron Sheehy. Unfortunately off camera, because we're still using our cheap fixes. But how you doing?
Doing well.
Doing good. And then, welcoming back. Haven't seen this fellow in a while. Haven't talked to him on the show, or just talked to him well, actually I talked to you last week for a second over the phone.
That was an accident.
We have Andrew Sorrell here in the studio. Andrew, how you doing?
Oh, good. You got a lot more hair than last time I saw you. So
Yeah.
I know it's been a while.
Yeah, I'm letting it grow. Coach Tuberville made his comment. My neighbor, David Asbell, said I look like a meth addict.
Yeah.
And I'm like, meth addicts wish. They wish it was this good. And my uncle asked me, am I going for the Jesus look for Easter? I'm like, well, the shoe fits.
You're gonna pull it off. I'm telling you, you're gonna pull it off.
So, welcome into the show, everybody. First, I want to start with, of course, you're running a campaign for re-election, right?
I am.
How's that going?
Pretty well so far. I've been in 66 of Alabama's 67 counties on the campaign trail, and the one I'm missing is Covington, and I'm scheduled to be there in a couple weeks. Most of the counties I've been to 2 or 3 times already, so doing a little bit better covering the state this time than I did when I ran 4 years ago. But it's a lot easier this time because I've got a house in Montgomery now. So
there you go.
Yeah, I can basically be anywhere except Mobile. If I'm in Mobile, sometimes I have to spend the night. But would you believe I spent $10,000 on hotels when I was running for state auditor the first time? Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
It's only 100 nights or so on the road, but still at $100 a night, that's 10 grand.
Yeah. Adds up real quick.
I hate using donor money to pay for hotels. Like, you don't get any votes out of paying for a hotel room, But this time, I bet you I hadn't spent $1,000 this time. So
okay, well there you
my
go.
Own 2 houses.
There you go. From one to the other, and of course you are running for re-election to remain state auditor here in the great state of Alabama. So what's the basic pitch that you're giving to folks? Because we're getting closer and closer to the actual primary date.
Yeah, for sure. Look at what I've done the last 4 years. Joe, I don't know if you've seen this, but I've run my office really, really efficiently. So efficiently that I actually requested a decrease in my own budget this year. Yeah, have you ever seen a government official request a budget decrease? And I requested so little money that the governor and the legislature said no. They're actually giving me more money than I asked for. And I said, I appreciate it, but I really don't need this much. But I'm also not going to complain about it. Right. So if they give me the extra money, I told my staff, I said, well, they can't make me spend it. So we'll just, if we don't need it, we're going to roll it over. But that's how efficiently we've been running things. We requested a 1% budget decrease.
Yeah, I guess they're like, you're making us look bad. We all have to increase because that's just how it works, right? Like, there's no possible way you're actually economizing and making an office run that efficiently.
That's right. Well, you look at these other agencies, and a lot of them are requesting double-digit increases in their budget. And here we are, 2 years ago, I requested 1% increase. This year, I requested a 1% decrease. I mean, we're net zero for the last 2 years. And, of course, my opponent's been telling people, oh, it's just because it's an election year he's doing. I said, I only requested 1% the year before that. I mean, no, we're actually doing a good job saving money. I had an administrative assistant position go vacant. And I said, what would happen if we just don't fill this? Let's see. You know what happened? Nothing. Nothing.
You gotta wonder across government how much that would be true.
That's right. Our office is running more efficient than ever. So I mean, am I going to go hire another $50,000? And you got to remember, if you're paying somebody $50,000 salary, you're paying another $25,000 in retirement benefit. Yes, exactly. Yep. So I mean, these things add up. So I've got several vacant positions right now, but look, we're caught up on our audits. We're doing better than ever. We finished the job of RFID chipping 300,000 state inventory items. That my predecessor, he started that job. We completed it, wrapped up the last agency a year ago. So we're able to do audits in 2 weeks that it used to take us 5 weeks to do.
Wow.
We've upgraded our vehicle fleet without spending a penny. The governor put out an executive order a couple years ago to downsize your vehicle fleet for all these state agencies. So we said, hey, you're trying to get rid of some cars. We need some newer cars. And you know, the cars I drive, my pickup truck has 180,000 miles on it.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
So I said, one of my staff one time emailed me like, oh, our auditors, boy, they're on the road with these 150,000 mile cars. And I was like, oh, that doesn't sound bad to me at all. It's better than what I'm on the road with.
And how much, like, when we're talking these audits, how much in, like, those sort of assets, so like property asset, like, is there a top dollar figure of, like, how much this is in total you have to check and look over?
Yeah, it's 1.3 billion.
Phew.
Wow.
Yeah, it expands rapidly. So the way the law reads, anything $500 or more has got to go on the property rolls, non-consumable. So, for instance, if you buy a pallet of paper, that's consumable. So we don't audit that. But anything that's non-consumable personal property goes on our rolls. Well, with inflation, as you can imagine, more and more stuff costs $500.
Right.
So very simple things are, I mean, one of these days, a stapler is going to be $500. So one of the things I'm trying to do is get the legislature to allow me to raise that threshold with the rate of inflation.
Okay.
And I think that makes sense for everyone.
That does make a lot of sense, because it's like, at a certain point, we shouldn't have to be checking on every particular thing. Right now, we're having a fight to getting the house I'm living in fixed, and insurance companies, and I'll say their name, USAA included. Grandfather's been with them 60 years.
Yeah.
They've shifted over the years to third parties, and it's like contracted and bidded out, like estimated down to the stud.
Yeah.
And it's absurd, and I think some of it is a
Hoops
little
for you to
bit
jump through, Joey.
like, and there's only a few consultants that actually know how to work the software they work with now.
But of course.
And so at a certain point it becomes like, especially with state government, that makes a lot of sense to index it, to actually keep up with inflation, because we're not trying to account down to the tiniest thing.
Yeah, well, you know, it costs us money to have our staff on the road to do these audits. So, and we've got to go do, if there's an agency that's only got 3 pieces of property somewhere in Northeast Alabama, we've still got to send an auditor up there to do it once every 2 years. And you want to make sure that, you know, we're spending right now $1.3 million on our budget to track 1.3 billion of property. Well, that's a really good ratio. That's worth it. And how much property would go missing if we didn't have an auditor's office? Well, probably a whole lot more than $1.3 million.
I would say 90% of it.
But did you find any like major violations or anything like that?
We had an agency, my first year in office, we had an agency missing 2 million of property.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we sure did. And I'm not going to tell you which one, because I promised I wouldn't publicly embarrass them if they would work with me to fix it.
What kind of
Bring it
stuff
back?
was it, though?
Well, if I tell you that, then you'll know what agency it is. But I'll tell you this, they blamed it all on COVID. And
But
I
of
said,
course.
A lot of booze went missing, I'm guessing.
we have other large state agencies. Like, I'll tell you one that got a perfect audit, Department of Corrections. Commissioner Ham, $69 million of inventory.
Man, that's a lot.
They're not missing a single piece of property.
Wow.
So I said,
fantastic.
if that agency can have a perfect audit, then any agency can.
Yeah.
It's all about how good their property manager is. And the property manager at the other agency were missing $2 million. By the way, we found 1.3 million of the missing 2. Over the next 2 years, we found 1.3 million of that. We still had to write off 700,000. We come back for their audit in 2025, and we've been working with them for 2 years, training their property manager better, getting systems in place, getting regional property managers in place. The next time they're missing another $1 million. I said, this has got to stop. I said, yeah, I scheduled another meeting with the director of that agency, and I said, in my opinion, you need to fire your property manager.
Yep.
And you know, when I went in to meet with him, behind him on the wall, hanging on the wall, is perfect audit certificates from when Beth Chapman was auditor 20 years ago. So this same agency used to be missing 0 pieces of property. It's all about who your property manager is.
Yep.
And the gentleman came up to me at the State of the State address, and he said, took your advice. We've got a different property manager now. So I'm optimistic that in 2027, they're going to be missing a whole lot less.
Is there any hope of your old buddies, the colleagues there at the legislature, like getting some more powers back at the auditor's office? Because you're working on a much more efficient budget. You, as you just said, requested less money. It would be nice to see this operation be able to expand out and actually check on more things in the state.
I think the legislature is still sore at me for voting against 5 of the 8 budgets when I was there,
Fair enough.
and a few other votes I took. And I had House Bill 94 by Representative Jamie Keel, which would strengthen the auditor's office duties. It would allow me to issue demand letters when state property is negligently lost or
Yes.
damaged. And all very reasonable things. I'm not asking for some big increase in my own power, but just things that directly relate to the management of state government property that make sense, like raising the threshold that we talked about earlier. And that bill was slated to be in committee the first week. The first Wednesday, we had that bill up in committee. Also that week, I announced I was running for re-election as state auditor instead of Secretary of State.
Uh-oh.
Bill got pulled off the committee calendar.
Oh,
So in other
goodness
words,
gracious.
the legislature's fine with strengthening the auditor's office as long as I'm not going
As
to
long
be the
as
auditor.
you, yeah, they're not giving you the
That's
strength.
I mean that's
It's,
what I took from
I'm
it.
sorry, it is like high school over there.
Told
and,
you.
And you know, here's first piece of evidence. It's spring break for them. It's like I haven't had spring break since I was in high school.
Correct.
We're all still working on
Right.
spring break. I don't know what the legislature's doing, but
One guy I know, he's not a legislator, but he's going to on a bourbon tour in Kentucky, which I'm like, that's not a
That's
bad
not
spring
bad
break.
idea.
I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah.
How do
know
you
what I'm
get that
talking
gig?
Yeah.
Right.
How do you get that gig?
Get voted most popular.
Yeah, well, you know, or you just make time to where you can go by yourself.
I will say there was one person at work today, and that was Treasurer Boozer. When I pulled up, he
Okay.
was walking out of the Capitol, and it looked to me like we've gotten a new robotic lawnmower at the Capitol.
Oh,
Really?
that's so cool.
And I don't know if this is some project young Boozer was working on, or if he was just fascinated by the robotic lawnmower and just stand there like following me around watching it. Because I watched it for a little while too.
Right, you can't help but watch it. It's so cool.
We got our treasurer and our auditors watching the lawnmower.
Well, honestly, long run, I think that's going to be less expensive than people power.
Well, it is, and the Capitol is a giant hill,
Yep.
and that's
Who
not
wants to
easy
push
to
that?
mow.
So what does this thing look like? And is it like, I guess, programmed to the grounds, or is it
It had
kind
to
of...
be, because it went right up to the edge of the flower bed
Yeah.
and stopped. And it's a little
That's really cool.
Husqvarna was the brand,
Mhm.
and it's got like a pivot in the middle so it can turn very sharply, and it would back up. It would like run up and then back up and turn, and it was pretty impressive watching the thing. But I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask young Boozer if that was his project or not.
Was it like the Rumba technology, like
Yes.
whenever it's...
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yes, that's exactly what
And it'll
it
be
is.
on tracks, so it doesn't get stuck. It doesn't tear holes in your yard. They're cool, man.
So we're like actually chipping property in Alabama. We got robotic lawnmowers at least. We're coming into the future. a
By the
little
way, that robotic lawnmower will end up on the property rolls. I'm sure that thing is over. So maybe I'll get to play with it at some point.
bit. There you
Good
go.
idea.
Probably
still
lease
trying
that
to-
out.
I'm still trying to figure out how to get in the governor's office. The one thing, I've been about everywhere in the Capitol. We've gotten some behind the scenes tours and stuff. There's some really cool stuff to see. You know, go up in the old dome, like way
sure.
up to the top, go
Oh,
out,
that would
walk
be
around
cool.
the outside. Politicians over the years have autographed their name in the hallway leading up that old 1851 staircase
Yeah.
that leads up to the top of the dome. So I added my name and my campaign slogan, "Do It for Liberty" from 2022. I added that when I was up there. But one place I've never seen is the elevator that George Wallace had installed after he got shot, that takes you from the ground level up to the first floor governor's office, and it's like a little like 1 or 2 person elevator.
Yeah.
And I've never been in the elevator. I've got to figure out some reason, some excuse to get
Start
into the
limping.
governor's office.
Next time you come in there, start limping really bad.
Oh, and I wonder, does it still work?
Yeah, they still
Okay.
use it.
Wow.
They sure do.
Yeah, and that's got to be tiny if it's just a 1 or 2 person. I don't think I've ever been in something like
But have you ever read David Asbell's story about the time they had the Thanksgiving turkey in the elevator?
that. No, I don't remember that. What it was.
Somebody, you know how they'll pardon a turkey on Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
The president always does that. Well, a lot of times the governor will do that too. So apparently somebody thought it was a bright idea to take the turkey into the governor's office. So they loaded the turkey up on the elevator, and long story short, it pooped all
I
in the
bet it
elevator.
did. I bet it did. Not an inside animal.
Claustrophobic, like, well, again, folks, we have State Auditor Andrew Sorrell here, and you're going to be hanging out the whole show here.
Yeah, I'll be here all 3 hours.
Awesome.
Cool.
And, well, just a quick rundown of headlines. And, you know, I forgot, I'm trying to start off. Thank God for another great day and another great show. And as I do the rundown here, it looks like peace might be breaking out in the Middle East, but not quite. Trump is continuing to try to get his Dealmaker-in-Chief powers through, but Iran still apparently, after saying we're having productive talks, wants peaceful use of nuclear technology. So it feels like we're still where we
Yep.
are, and the Strait of Hormuz remains closed.
Closed.
Interesting wrinkle, I believe J.D. Vance, the vice president, is going to Pakistan, or is it Pakistan? Or I remember during the Obama years, it's Pakistan. He kept saying
We're
it
back
that
in
way.
Alabama. It's Pakistan.
Pakistan. And so, as Vance going to Pakistan, he first went to Israel, and there are some reports that senior U.S. officials are particularly angry about West Bank settler violence, and apparently Vance confronted Netanyahu directly about it. So it's interesting to watch the Trump administration sort of play all different players in the region, but Israel clearly wants to keep pushing this war, does not want any sort of negotiated truce at this point, and not just pick on Israel, Saudi Arabia's crown prince, Mohammed bin Salman, is pushing to continue saying it's a historic opportunity to remake the Middle East. So Iran's direct enemies in the region and rivals are like, no, keep bombing them, keep the war going. I just, my cutoff of because my take on this is well, it depends on what happens, what actually works. And if we're still talking about this war on July the 4th, we got a big problem.
Yeah.
Big problem. If not, if they wrap this thing up, like Tuberville told us 2 weeks yesterday, okay, I think it might very well work out.
Trump is one person I trust to not get us bogged down in a forever war.
Here. Yeah, and that's my sense. It's just my libertarian comes out when I see Lindsey Graham on the news and I see Ted Cruz on the news, and I'm just like, man, thank God for Trump in that regard.
Yeah, that's true. I do have one suggestion for one final place Trump could bomb before he wraps up the bombing campaign. And this is only slightly in jest, but I'm so tired of the Iranian state media and the nonsense that they report. It's like they've had 9,000 targets destroyed, and they're on there bragging like, yeah, we got Trump on the run. And then Trump comes out and he says, okay, we're going to pause. We are graciously withholding bombing their energy infrastructure. And Trump agrees to a 5-day pause while there are talks, and then they come out and deny the talks are happening. Okay, well, fine. I guess let's just light up your energy infrastructure. No, and then I thought, you know what? No, that punishes the poor people of Iran.
Yes, it does.
But if we took out the Iranian state media, I'm not sure I'd be disappointed by that.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. They are obnoxious about it. And even CNN was running with a story saying, yeah, no, there's no talks. And then they had Wolf Blitzer himself have to go on there and correct CNN's own reporting, saying, actually, we were wrong. We actually have it corroborated from all sorts of different sides. A lot of different middlemen in this, and I can't even imagine how complicated it is if you've got Steve Witkoff's job, having to still talk to Russia and Ukraine, but then also you're talking to the Iranians through Turkey and UAE and so many different mediators.
Whose job is it in Iran to monitor Trump's True Social post? Because somebody got specifically assigned. Because a bombing campaign may be announced on True Social. That's the world we live in 2026.
Right.
Trump is going to announce his plans on True Social.
Exactly.
And that would be something that if on True Social he put out, we're going to kill $100 million bounty on the guy who reads these posts. Oh no! Oh no!
Well, they're already having trouble getting people to sign up for their Navy ships and stuff. Nobody wants to be on those. You want to serve on a Navy ship right now in Iran?
Submariner. Every one of them are going to be submariners, man.
Yeah.
Now, I do have a headline here where I just want to give a big thumbs down to Trump because of the particular day. But Trump, and it's Trump, so it is still funny. But Trump tells Senate GOP to skip Easter recess for Jesus to pass the Save America Act. Goodness gracious, man. Is there nothing sacred for the sky? The answer is yes, by the way. My goodness. And that is still going on, the negotiating back and forth, not just the Save America Act, but also when are they going to reopen the Department of Homeland Security? And I believe we saw ICE step in to help with the logjam at the airports.
Has it helped?
Yeah.
Actually, it has helped in certain areas.
Did you see ICE arrested those 2 ladies out in San Francisco, those 2 illegals in San Francisco airport? Did you see this?
I did not see that.
Oh, the Democrats are so furious. Now, they're not there as part of Trump's new campaign to have ICE in the airports helping out. This is unrelated, but apparently they arrested these 2 ladies, and one of them resisted arrest and starts running away, and they grab her, and she falls to the ground and starts screaming and crying and everything, and her little girl's there watching it all. The Democrats are like, oh, this is so terrible. And there's a judge that's ordered her to be deported in 2019, and she's been evading arrest for 7 years.
The whole time?
Yeah.
Well, honestly, you know as well as I do, you travel in airports, you know as well as I do, there are so many illegals that travel through airports.
Oh, yeah.
And how many of them during the Biden administration, you and I had to show ID, but they were not, and they were just put on the plane with you, me, and everybody else.
Good question. The airport seems a pretty logical place to catch people, actually.
And honestly, I would think a lot of them would see the ICE factor there and either deter or kind of decide to travel another way, go Greyhound.
Yeah. Well, we might rather have them on planes than driving.
Yeah. Yeah, you ain't kidding.
They're probably safer there.
You ain't kidding.
Also looks like Mark Wayne Mullen was confirmed as the next Department of Homeland Security Secretary. The one Republican who voted against him is not a surprise after it got pretty personal at the committee hearing, which is Rand Paul. Voted against him, but Fetterman joined the Republicans and one other Democrat whose name escapes me. Also, this is a crazy story. I mean, we'll get into details of all this stuff after this rundown, but quadruple amputee cornhole champion charged with murder.
Yep.
And you're like, what? Like, my favorite response to this was Bridget Fetisi. She said, "Am I having a stroke?" After reading that headline. And then a video came out, and I'll play the video of this guy operating a firearm.
No way.
Yeah,
Oh, I've seen a couple of them.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen that.
And he's
Yeah, he's pretty
effectively,
deadly.
he loads it up, like has it,
Yep.
and he's able to pull the trigger in a pretty
Wow.
stable manner.
Mhm.
It's pretty insane, absolutely insane. Gavin Newsom's being roasted for bizarrely comparing himself to American Psycho. Patrick Bateman or
think
Christian
that's-
Bale character.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are we even doing here? And by the way, whatever happened to just diet and exercise? Python blood could help make the next big weight loss drug without the GLP-1 side effects. So, no, I'm not putting snake blood.
Dude, let's go catch some
Unreal.
snakes,
In
man.
me.
We can, down in Florida,
He's
they're
some
already giving
opportunity.
away a bounty on them. Whether we drain the blood out of them or not, the bounty's going to be the same. Tiger blood, man.
Goodness gracious. And then I have to do this one delicately, and
boy.
there's not any more to what I'm about to say, but Scott Bessent is proving to be probably the biggest troll, bigger than Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
And this is going out all over the interwebs. In California, Silicon Valley is where they make the computers, Bessent reportedly said. In South Carolina, Silicon Valley is the space between Nancy Mace's.
Oh no.
And I'm like, wow, Scott Bessent. I shook my head and I laughed in shame. But I did laugh when I saw it, and I didn't say the word. But he
Okay.
this guy, don't mess with Scott Bessent. And I did not see that coming.
Oh, come on, man.
No, from his confirmation hearings, I
Yeah.
did not see that coming at all. I thought, well, this guy's smart, clearly,
Yes.
like financial genius. It helped break the Bank of England with Soros back in Druckenmiller back in the day, or Druckenmiller. But to see like his retorts at Gavin Newsom during the Munich Security Conference, and just how he's able to roast people, and also apparently punched Elon Musk in the face at one point during fights over Doge.
I bet he is a hoot, man.
Wow.
Yeah,
Go to happy hour with that dude. I bet he could tie one on and tell some stories.
Yeah, so there's a lot to jump into today, but how about this? Let's hit a break.
Right.
First, this part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings. And of course, at Dillon Rings, they're able to do custom design work, second to none. In fact, I'm going through the process myself, getting something done, and it is so easy working with Josh Ryder. And, I think I'm being the difficult one.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Imagine that.
But he is very good at taking. I'm like, well, could we change this, and that, and then he comes back and he's got it exactly how I want it. And so, if you go to Dillon Ring's Facebook page today, you can find the
He's a
precision.
mad scientist back there.
Yeah, and like what goes into actually doing repair work, what goes into this sort of custom design work. I've actually been in that shop in person, and it really is. He's an artist and a bit of a mad scientist. But go check this out, folks, and you can see Josh Ryder doing his handiwork. I think you're getting that POV point of view as he's adding something to a chain there as I watch this. And just how delicate and like precise the work has to be. Pretty incredible stuff. And of course, there at Dillon Rings, custom design work, but also repair work, also spa treatments. Maybe there's jewelry you wear all the time, and it looks like you wear it all the time and have for years. What if it could shine and shimmer like it's brand new again? Of course, they do appraisals. They buy old jewelry off you. Like I said, they do it all. Not to mention their amazing inventory they have in stock there. So y'all check out Dillon Rings today. 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway. Be sure to tell them that Joey, that fellow on the radio, sent you.
Carry News Talk in your pocket.
Have y'all talked about Chris Pringle's comments on the House floor last week?
I saw Stan's commentary on it.
That was about that was him defending Guy Hunt.
Yeah.
But Pringle goes to the House.
Close primaries thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
you don't talk about that on the radio? He goes to the floor and he says that if you will drive the party into the dirt with this bill, Gary Palmer will lose his seat if we pass this bill. And then you know what he does? He votes for it.
If you're hooked into it, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I'd be happy to, man. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard somebody say on the House floor.
Wow.
Do you know who brought the turkey in? Because I've been pinging some of my old dogs that were part of Fobbs' administration. Like, who was it that brought the turkey in that shat everywhere? And I got people, it wasn't me. Who was it? I don't know, but it wasn't me.
Let me text Asbo.
They're still like 60 years old.
Hold on. People
Or
are
older.
saying the YouTube mic's still on. How?
Don't lose hope. Give the Good Feed store a try. We're located at 7341 East Chase Parkway in the shops at East Chase. Now hiring.
This is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your real estate minute. Here in the River region, thousands of hard-working folks will be buying homes, some for the first time. How do you know you are buying the right home? It starts with research. A buyer's agent can help you in your search, providing a list of homes you may not be aware of or know about. At the same time, a meeting with a local lender to find out exactly what you qualify for.
Okay.
Much it will cost at closing and monthly. A list of needs and wants provided to your agent will help them locate properties that match those needs. An example would be bedrooms, baths, school zones, floor plan requests will also help. Start shopping and look at homes and compare and make a list of pluses and minuses for each home. Compare them with your agent to narrow the field. After you work out the contract, appraisals and inspections come next, and then the closing. For more details, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group, 221-2883. That's 221-2883.
This is James Cole with Cole Plumbing, and I want to thank Blue Water Broadcasting. I have been advertising with them for several years, and they have brought me quality business. I really appreciate them.
Did you know that radio is the #1 reach platform in all of media? It's true. Call us to find out how to put radio's #1 reach to work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
The 22nd Annual Autism Crawfish Boil benefiting Easter Seals of Central Alabama is April 11th at Riverwalk Stadium. Proceeds from this fun family event benefit autism programs at Easter Seals of Central Alabama. Enjoy all-you-can-eat crawfish, live music, and even a baseball game. The Autism Crawfish Boil, April 11th at Riverwalk Stadium. Stay and eat or grab them to go. Scan or visit mudbugball.com to purchase tickets and get info on curbside pickup.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
2026 marks 60 years that hope has had a home in Alabama. At the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches, children who've lost everything through no fault of their own have found something priceless. A safe place to live, a loving Christian family, and the chance to simply be kids again. Here, boys and girls grow up surrounded by care, guidance, and faith, learning right from wrong, learning responsibility, learning they are valued and that their lives have purpose. As the Alabama Sheriffs have believed for 6 decades, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women. These former ranchers are now teachers, parents, business owners, and leaders, living proof that love, structure, and faith can change a life forever. As the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches celebrate 60 years of serving Alabama's children, you can help ensure the next child has the same chance. Learn how you can make a difference at alabamasheriffsyouthranches.org. 60 years of building lives, and we're just getting started.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Clark Heating, Air, and Plumbing. It's time to schedule your spring tune-up with Clark Heating, Air, and Plumbing. Don't wait. Schedule today. Give them a call at 334-277-2125. Alabama certification number 88007.
Rich Thomas Weather.
We've got some cooler air funneling into the state today on gusty northwesterly winds. Plenty of sunshine with a high temperature up to about 73 today. I'll mention the small chances, some isolated showers, mainly over eastern Alabama this evening and tonight, with the overnight low temperature in the lower 50s. Wednesday's high up to about 71 with sunshine. Then expect another warm-up as we get into Thursday and Friday with highs in the low to mid-80s. Then cooler again by the weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More has the best prices. Carpet as low as 69 cents per square foot. LVP starting at $1.29 a square foot. Sheet vinyl as low as 65 cents per square foot. And the lowest prices on flooring installation supplies. Budget Floors and More across from Del Rey to Publix.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
For the audio problems on the live stream at the beginning. My fault, folks. Again, in studio here we have Eddie Bader, Andrew Sorrell, and Byron Sheehy, though you can't see him on the cameras.
It's probably better for everyone that way.
But it's good to have you back, man. The Georgia trip was good?
It could have been better.
Okay.
Didn't hit the lotto? The shenanigans over there, the whip count we had sort of dissolved whenever the bill actually came up for a vote. It's one of those things that they kind of didn't think that they'd have to put rubber on the highway, and when they did, kind of backtracked a little bit.
Now, in a second, we'll get to a lot of those stories we ran down in the opening segment, but I do want to focus on this because I haven't had the opportunity yet. I saw it in passing. In fact, without naming names, I've had people call up for and against to just get in my ear about closed primaries. Now, I admit, if I had to vote, I'm for closed primaries. I'm for them. I think it creates a better situation, not only in this state, but it seems a more honest way of going about things. The middle constantly dominates the state in a way that isn't, I'm not saying it's like the most nefarious, shady thing ever, but it's very clear that there are a lot of folks that claim to be Republicans that vote in Republican primaries that are not really all that conservative.
True.
So if you want a true conservative Republican supermajority, I think the closed primary is the way to go, though. I mean, you could war game out, like, what's your turnout going to change in that regard and all that. But an interesting thing was said that, I believe it was by Chris Pringle of Mobile, there in the House, the State House Pro Tem, that Gary Palmer could lose his seat. What? I don't think Gary Palmer's going to lose his seat to a Democrat.
I really don't see that.
How would a closed primary hurt, of all people, Gary Palmer?
I've got bad news for y'all. We're losing a congressional seat, according to Chris Pringle, and he knows. You know, he was chair of reapportionment in the House and everything when I was there. You know, we voted for those districts. Of course, the courts later threw them out, right? But we did the best we could. We did the right thing. I think the Supreme Court will ultimately prove us correct this summer. I think they're going to overturn the federal court's decision that redrew our districts. It'll probably be too late to help us in the 2026 cycle, but in 2028, I'm very optimistic. But just so everyone knows, Gary Palmer's district is like a R plus 40. Not 4, 40. This is not a purple district.
Right.
And the why of all the examples Pringle could have used of to what seat we might lose if we passed party registration, would he pick Gary Palmer? And I mean, some of the comments were quite shocking, really. Let me scroll down to them. And okay, here we go. Have you looked at the numbers in Gary Palmer's district?
Okay, I'm looking.
It's a purple district. He's going to be on the ballot when you start implementing this. You're not good enough to vote in the Republican. You don't think you're going to drive the independent voters against the incumbent Republican? I bet you Gary Palmer's not very happy about this bill. Actually, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Gary Palmer did support this bill. I mean, I don't know.
And this is Pringle saying this to the sponsor of the bill, Early
Yes,
Yarborough.
he's on the floor debating this with Representative Yarborough, who's the bill sponsor. Palmer was an API guy, Alabama Policy Institute. I mean, I'm just speculating, but my guess is Palmer would be for this, especially in an R+40 district. You want Gary Palmer to lose? He's one of our most conservative. Yarborough responds, no, I don't want him to lose. Pringle, well, you're going to drive the independent voters against Gary Palmer. You realize that? They will retaliate against us for doing this to them because I remember the Republicans always used to brag, we have an open tent. We want people to come to our party. We want to hear diverse comments. We want people who can think for themselves. And the Democrats are like, no, we want to close ours. And we railed on them about trying to close their primaries because we bragged about having an open primary. Okay, so look, what happens is when it's a Democrat supermajority state, the Democrats want to close their primary and keep the Republicans out. And when it's a Republican supermajority state, we want to do the opposite. That's just the nature of the beast. And the things that you're for today, you're against in 30 years because the situation's changed, obviously.
Yeah.
All right. I've got members in here. I was chairman of reinforcement. We're going to lose some of your members in here. You push this bill. We've got some people in purple districts, Gary Palmer being one of them.
It's not a purple district.
It's really purple.
And those purple districts are going to go against the Republican Party, and they're going to send Democrats down here, and they'll probably send Democrats to the United States Congress from the state of Alabama. Okay, just so everyone knows, that's not going to happen. And the purple seats that we have in the Alabama legislature that we might actually lose if we take off some independents, I was speaking to one of those legislators a couple weeks ago at the ALGOP meeting. I'm not going to tell you who it was.
All right.
The guy's a friend of mine. I don't agree with him on anything, but he's
Sure.
a nice guy and he's a friend of mine. And we're debating this. He's like, well, I might lose my seat if we pass this bill. And I said, well, how much did you win by last time? Well, I didn't have an opponent last time. Okay, well, I said, okay. Well, I said, you got an opponent this time, right? No, I don't have an opponent this time. Yeah. I said, I'm going to confidently predict you will not lose your seat if we pass this bill. The closed primary, 32 other states already have closed primaries. What we're talking about doing here is not radical. It's like when we were talking about passing constitutional carry back in 2022, everyone was like, people are going to die and be murdered in the streets. And it's like, well, actually, we have 21 other states who've already done this. Could we look and see what's happened in the other 21 states? Mm-hmm. You know what happened? They got safer after constitutional carry. Mm-hmm. Who knew? You follow the Constitution, things work out right. So what happens in the other 32 states where we have party registration? It's just people think we already have party registration. I can't tell you the number of times people come up to me and said, I'm a registered Republican in Alabama. I'm like, no, you're not. We don't have party registration. I'm like, what are you talking about? They think they're registered. Yep. They always vote Republican. All we're doing is backing up. Like the way it is now, you walk in to vote on election day, you say, I want a Republican ballot or a Democrat ballot in the primary. You vote for whoever you want in the general. You can split your ticket, you can do whatever you want. But in the primary, you declare on election day Republican or Democrat. Okay? Well, in the future, all you'd have to do is declare 60 days out. That's the only change. Just let us know which primary voting in with 60 days notice. That is the only change. And
Like check a box on a website, essentially.
Correct. And you don't even have to do that. If you walk in and vote Republican the first time we have party registration, that just automatically qualifies you to vote as Republican.
There you go.
But Representative, if you do that, it kind of fits as the numbers, though, right? Is it that sort of the problem?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sort of. But like, it helps consultants. So I know you do a lot of political work.
No, I was saying it ironically or sarcastically. Like, of course, that's why they don't want it to be enacted. They don't want the numbers fit so that they can manipulate them on the back end. You know, the ballot harvesting and all that sort of stuff.
Well, what you have is you have people who cross over, and this happened in the Jay Hovey-Tom Whatley state senate race in 2022, where after the incumbent Republican lost re-election by one vote to Jay Hovey, there were 4 or 5 Democrats bragging on Facebook. I saw the post myself. I'm a Democrat. I crossed over and voted for Jay Hovey because I wanted Tom Whatley to not be the Republican nominee. Those people probably turned around and voted against Jay Hovey in the general. Do you remember, I don't know, Joey, how old are you, if you mind me asking?
37.
Okay, you're going to remember this probably. Do you remember Operation Chaos that Rush Limbaugh did in 2008?
Vaguely.
The
Yes.
Well, look, I thought this was hilarious in 2008. That's before I was a politician myself. I don't find it as funny now when people cross over and vote in other primaries, but it was a funny idea. Basically what happened was the Republicans had already picked their nominee. It was going to be John McCain, and the Democrats had not, but it looked like Obama was going to be the nominee. And Rush Limbaugh said, we have no reason to vote in the Republican primaries. We already know our nominee. Let's cause chaos in the Democrat primaries. And he started selling Operation Chaos t-shirts. He was like flaunting it.
Who was he saying to vote for? Do you remember?
Hillary Clinton.
Hillary.
Yes, people forget Rush Limbaugh encouraged people to vote for Hillary Clinton. The idea was Republicans would cross over, vote in the Democrat primary for Hillary. She would start winning states and then keep the Democrat nomination kind of up in the air until the summer and hopefully have a contested convention and everything. And it worked beautifully. Hillary Clinton starts winning all these states, and now all of a sudden Obama's like, oh shoot, like Hillary's making a comeback here, and it's Republicans crossing over and voting.
He just told the joke to the room, kind of exposed everything for what it was. It was kind of beautiful to watch.
Oh, well, and I'm being reminded, by the way, by text, thank you to Brubaker, Pringle did end up voting for this bill, even after these comments and this back and forth with Yarborough. I believe
that's the mind-blowing thing. He's like the headline of this article is, you will drive this party into the dirt with this bill. We will lose Gary Palmer's seat if we pass this bill. And then, for some reason, he votes for it.
Maybe he was convinced.
Yeah, sold himself on it.
I don't understand. If he made all these points and voted no, it would make sense. How he voted yes after saying what he said, I'll never understand.
He had to have seen a map that was colored incorrectly or something.
Well, also, I don't think it's about the only purple district you have, I guess, is the Shamari Figures.
That's not even purple, man.
And that's right.
It's blue.
Yeah, that's a D plus 10 probably.
Right. So, like, you're not even. This isn't about the federal. This is clearly about state.
Well, and I always remind people that the most purple district in the entire state, in the state house, from 2018 to 2022, was my district. I got 52.5% in my district. So when people try to use their purple district as an excuse for not voting conservative, I would say I am the most conservative member of the Alabama legislature. 3 out of the 4 years I was there, and I lived in the most purple district. So you don't have any excuse.
Here.
I would think that Auburn and Tuscaloosa would be the first two places that you see red seats flip blue, and after that, somewhere up in the northern valley,
Madison,
with some of the transplants from Virginia coming down.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Auburn is a worry spot for us, and also the entire Madison County. I mean, Tuberville's winning Madison County 51-49. We got House District 10 up there.
51-49.
Yeah, isn't that scary?
Wow.
We've got House District 10 that we lost in a special election to Maryland Lands. We've got a young man named Aaron something or another running for State House up there. He is the only Republican in the race, so he is the nominee. I feel like we have 50-50 shot of winning that seat back. And then John Roberts is running for Tom Butler's state Senate seat. That is going to be a 52-48, one direction or the other in the state Senate. And I don't know which way that'll go either.
Well, and also, it seems like, again, the middle drives the agenda, or has for the longest time in this state, especially within the legislature. And, I mean, Governor Ivey, God love her, has been happy to go along with that sort of middle agenda. You got to wonder, when you get to Governor Tuberville, and you've had a little bit of the infighting this session, especially with the ouster of Stadhagen from House Majority Leader, but now he's the GOP chairman. You got to wonder, what is the future of the Alabama Republican Party? And is it actually going to be a stalwart conservative party? I'm not saying they don't vote eventually on conservative things. They do on certain things. But it would be nice to lead and also slim down these budgets to a degree.
Well, it takes 3 to 4 years to pass any good conservative bill.
Yep.
You look at the transgender mutilation bill that Wes Allen passed, took him 4 years. You look at constitutional carry, took 4 years. The only thing that's gone through faster, I would say, is school choice, and that was started by Representative Yarborough and Senator Stutz back in the 2023 session, right after Ernie got elected. Him and Stutz carried the Price Act, Parental Rights in Children's Education. That failed to, but it made so much headlines, it forced the issue. Everyone got talking about it, and the next year it was so popular that the governor came out and said, we're going to do this. And when the governor finally came out for it, it went through. That only took 2 years. Every other big bill, look, I hope we get party registration through. I really do. It passed out of a House committee, and it passed on the House floor with 63 Republican votes. That's great. It's sitting up in the Senate. There's only 6 legislative days left. Is that bill going to make it through this year?
Now, while we're on the state thing, what do you think happens with the PSC reforms? I'm much more a fan of what Mac Butler has put forward in the House. The Senate bill is almost too cute by half as sort of a plan B, Hail Mary last second. But I mean, what do you think? Because we are short on days.
What I'm hearing is all of the PSC bills are going to be combined into one bill.
Okay.
And they're going to pass one big omnibus, if you will, that reforms the PSC. Now, I love Mac Butler's bill. Yeah, let's have some rate hearings. I haven't had them since 1982. Not been a single rate hearing since you and I have been alive.
Yep.
That's kind of crazy. Let's get some rate hearings. But then I don't understand the Senate bill. I appreciate that the Senate didn't pass the bad PSC bill, which was taking away everyone's right to vote in the state school board, or excuse me, taking everyone's right away to vote on their PSC member. By the way, people don't even know what the PSC is or what it does. But when you get ready to take their right to vote away on it, they're mad. Right. And it was very similar to 2019 when there was a bill to take away their right to vote on their state school board member. Right. And I led the charge against that, and it was the Senate Pro Tem's bill. And when I went to the House floor and spoke against it and invoked Rule 32, which meant that all the people at the beach that day couldn't vote because they weren't in the chamber, I got a lot of angry texts for that. Yeah, they were not happy. The Senate Pro Tem took 2 of my bills upstairs out of the basket and threw them in the trash can in front of my state senator. Yeah, that was my welcome to how Montgomery works. How dare you speak against the Senate Pro Tem's bill? Goodness. Well, you know what? I was proven correct. The bill passed, went on the ballot. 75% of Alabamians voted no on removing their right to vote for their state school board member and making it appointed. People want to vote for their PSC member. Yep. So, but I don't understand how changing it from 3 that are elected statewide to 7 that are elected by congressional district does anything. Like, if we want to lower rates, let's make the board bigger. What? No, it matters how they vote, not how many people are on the board.
My read on this bill is it's sort of a little bit of a short-term palliative for the populace in that we're going to make sure there's no increases in the near term. But then when you add these extra members, the 4 extra members, what you're going to get is, I guess, staggered 6-year terms. And so what you get with the United States Senate right now, you can't have wave elections that actually change policy. And so it essentially will allow Alabama Power and others to be able to make sure they're always have at least a stop on the board, if not full control of the
Well, to
commission.
be fair, though, it's hard to have a wave election now because they don't all run concurrent now.
That's true.
The chairman runs in the presidential cycles, and the other 2, I guess if 2 won, and that may be what's going on here, both of the incumbents, and look, I'm not giving my opinion on who to vote for. I'm just stating the facts. I like both the incumbents. I'm just saying I've seen polling that has both of them down. And that may be where all of this PSC stuff is coming from. Sheriff Gentry from up in Coleman County is running very strong. He's raising way more money than anybody thought possible. You've got Jim Ziegler making a comeback. PSC place 2, and he's polling up nearly 20 points over the incumbent. And maybe the powers that be are looking at this and they're like, oh my goodness, we're going to have a sheriff and Jim Ziegler with the majority vote on the PSC. What is about to happen? And that's why they're trying to shove something through. I don't know. But why now? Why this year? Then we had the leaked phone call between R.B. Walker at Alabama Power and that, what is it, Open Alabama? Was it the other group? That gets leaked, and R.B. Ends up resigning his position, basically, or taking, he was for, I'm sure.
Is he going to be okay?
Look, I hope so. RB's always been good to me.
I was defending RB. Yeah, I don't know RB, but I was like, come on, he's the fall guy.
He's the fall guy,
He was the fall guy. He certainly was. But, yeah, I hear that it's all going to be combined. And then we're going to have this new energy secretary. That's going to lower rates, Joey. Look, if you put some government czar in charge of energy prices in Alabama, that always works, right?
Man. No for 200.
It's a mess. And I think what also stirred up the establishment and the populist energies is just this whole conversation around AI and data centers. And, it's just, I think it has stirred everybody awake. I get why, given the history, I guess, under Wallace, Alabama Power almost goes bankrupt. And so if you have a swing, big populist election and people really, it's not a thought-through process. It's more like, screw Alabama Power. I really don't care about their interest, 1 degree. That actually could hurt the state. But it's not like I think the powers that be are asking for some nice middle ground compromise either. I think they're trying to protect their own turf still and not have accountability. And as soon as, for instance, I try to keep it just simple. As soon as I saw Jim Ziegler on and doing well, I'm like, okay, they're going to react to that.
Yeah, that's right.
You know it.
So we'll see. And there's a lot of stuff they're doing at the last second, and not many legislative days left at all. So I don't know what actually gets done. But it seems like this has stirred up enough energy from every which angle where this one, I think, probably gets done, the PSC. I'd love to see the closed primaries. I'd love to see the closed primaries get done. I was very supportive of what Barfoot has put forward about police law enforcement levels in Class 3 cities. In particular, they're looking at Montgomery. That might very well be voted on.
Somebody told me that Montgomery used to have 500 police officers and down to 200. Is that
give or take?
Yeah, that's crazy.
They won't give straight up answers on our force levels.
Okay. Because I live by one of them. He's my neighbor in my neighborhood, and I'm thankful he's there. I'm like, well, one of the 200 happens to live by me, but.
God love the people that are there. But you're right. It used to be 500, and what's frustrating is, and we're budgeted 400, and they've done pay raises, they've done incentive packages, they've done all sorts of stuff, and it makes me wonder about. This is more a qualitative leadership problem.
There you go. What's the one thing that hadn't changed?
It's just like when the Democrats in the White House and they can't get anybody to join the military.
Yeah.
Right. There you go.
Good point.
If you don't feel supported by the person at the top, you don't want to work for them regardless of the pay rate.
And also, it is much easier, just to be blunt, to work at the sheriff's office when you're more in the rural part, or Prattville, or Millbrook, or
a lot less calls per hour.
Right.
And I think a better schedule for just living.
And somebody might do the more urban policing if they know that the person in charge, which in this case would not be even the chief, it would be the mayor,
would have your
back.
Well, the other thing is, like, these police officers get so worn out. They go, they arrest somebody, they put them in, they bail out, and 24 hours later they're back on the street. Like, what is the motivation to risk your life to arrest those people?
Right, and when your levels are so low, it's much easier when you got another guy next to you, shoulder to shoulder, to actually enforce these things. And then the awful downtown shooting. I know the chief, Chief Grayboy, said, "Oh, we did it by the book," but I was like, as soon as I heard that, I go, "Okay, that's a non-answer." And clearly, if the chief had 100 more officers, it would have been much easier to police Montgomery when you got three major events going on. So it's just, I know he's trying to be a team player, so to speak, the chief of police is, but it's very frustrating to see. So I hope Barfoot's legislation gets through. Also, I liked very much Reed Ingram's voluntary, the school prayer.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And by the way, I don't have any problem. You know that bill failed in the first committee, Terry Collins' committee, and he went and resubmitted the bill under a different bill number and got it in another committee, and I think it was state government. It popped out of there, and everyone was mad about that. I don't have a problem in the world with that, man.
I think it's great.
Good. Work the system. Use the rules that are there to pass good bills. I don't care how you do it.
Amen, amen, amen. Now, just as we're closing out some state stuff here, the top trending story by Trenton Buffenbarger. He writes, radical leftist groups SPLC and ACLU back UA student lawsuit over magazine suspensions. Oh, goodness gracious. Is the SPLC still going? Like, I know the ACLU is, but the SPLC still a thing?
Yeah, Joey, don't throw me off the radio, but I actually worked with SPLC to pass civil asset forfeiture.
Actually, I agree with you on that. No, I've met some SPLC lawyers. I'm like, what do you do? And they're like, well, I try to kind of help poor folks that are stuck in jail because they can't pay basic fines. I'm like, okay, that's like fair enough.
A blind acorn finds a squirrel every now and then.
That's right.
I have no problem with that.
For I'm against, but they were with me on civil asset forfeiture.
Right, but I'll just read the story here real quick. Monday morning, students at the University of Alabama filed a lawsuit against the university following the suspension of two student magazines last fall. Publications Alice magazine and 1965 were suspended after the university cited a federal memo from the U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi last summer. The memo outlined recommendations for avoiding violations of federal anti-discrimination laws, though it was non-binding. Far from a purely student-led effort, the lawsuit is being carried forward by the Legal Defense Fund, ACLU of Alabama, and the Southern Poverty Law Center, three well-funded, nationally active legal groups known for pushing progressive, left-leaning litigation. SPLC is notable because the organization has built national influence through its tracking of so-called hate groups. Remember when they had the Mises Institute that way? I was like, oh, thanks, guys. Bunch of economics nerds, really?
No, I remember that.
Yeah.
But has faced criticism in recent years for applying that label to organizations and viewpoints that fall well within mainstream politics. Yeah, say you're a devout, like, Roman Catholic or, Reformed Baptist, and you are really, really pro-life.
Yeah.
Oh, you're now a part of a hate group or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's absurd. Now, both publications that were canceled were closely tied to identity-based audiences, with Alice focusing on the subset of women and 1965 on black students. This lawsuit challenges the university's reasoning, arguing that the suspensions were not applied evenly and are viewpoint discrimination. Now, both magazines heavily tied their content to slim identity groups rather than providing content for the entire student population. Some examples of the stories. that a former editor of Alice magazine and one of the plaintiffs, Gabrielle Gunter, claimed are for everyone include Butch, you're star-studded, which highlighted the fashions of studs, butches, and masks. I guess that's masochists. Represents queer liberation and pride. Caring about carabiners, which says that using carabiners is like waving a mini pride flag, but only certain people can see it. Does reading smut make you a slut? Sounds like a Lindsey Graham quote. Roll Pride, which discusses gender non-conforming experiences at UA. Queer Cartoons, which supports LGBTQIA weddings and children's shows, such as Steven Universe, the complex reality of pole dancing, moshing against misogyny, Southern queerness and resistance, pop, princess, and sex, a love letter to queer love, abortion resources for Alabama. And the 1965 magazine included stories of past publications titled The Silence and Stigma, The Burden of Mental Health for People of Color at a Predominantly White Institution, which went over microaggressions, misogynoir. The intersection of blackness and womanhood results in a unique experience of marginalization. My experience navigating the dating world as a transgender black woman, which complains about hormones and how masculine men are blowing up our phones saying how much they want us. Okay, applying allyship. Allyship is about more than just support. Equity on a spectrum, which states constant bigotry or in real life made it apparent to LGBTQI people of color that the fight for equity was not over. So, pretty broad-based appeal.
Yeah. Have a lot of readership on those articles. Those are some real gems.
No, and it is, I guess, an interesting legal question. Like, does not have the university have ability to have some discernment?
Look, this goes back to the opinion article that you wrote on 1819. What are you using your liberty for?
Amen.
And if it's for this trash, then what a stupid thing to use your liberty for.
It is trash. It is depraved. It is, in a lot of ways, just a waste of time. I mean, it's pride and self-glorification in a lot of ways, which, I'm plenty guilty of in my past, but not in this degree either. It's just, it is weird how, the identity became the new religious impulse for some folks. Anyway, we'll see where the legal argument goes, because I'm sure it's not actually all that cut and dry, given it is a public institution. So you have the AG on one hand saying things, non-binding things technically. You also have the state's anti-DEI laws that were passed. But then you also have viewpoint discrimination laws with a public institution. So we'll see where it goes.
It's kind of like taxpayer funding of abortion. Like, why do we have to pay for things that we don't agree with? And you've got, this is going to appeal to 2 to 5% of the populace. And why do the other 95 to 98% have to pay for this?
Amen. Amen. Anyway, we got to hit this break. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Iran has named a former Iranian Revolutionary Guard commander as a new secretary of the country's Supreme National Guard Council. He replaces a man who was killed in an airstrike earlier. Also at srnnews.com, it has been up and down for stocks today, a mixed bag as oil prices are retreating just enough to give investors hope. The Dow Jones Industrial Average at this hour is back down into negative territory, not far. It's off by 36 points. The Nasdaq down by 194. Senators are discussing a proposal to end the Homeland Security budget stalemate that's lasted for several weeks. The plan being discussed would authorize funding for much of the Homeland Security Department, including Transportation Security Administration airport workers. They've been going without pay, but Congress would still withhold funding from ICE. This is SRN News.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline, 800-305-6762. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-305-6762 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. That's 800-305-6762 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-305-6762.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. For tough, good-looking roofs, it's Tamco Shingles from Alabama Wholesale Lumber. For great folks and great prices, call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
We've got some cooler air funneling into the state today on gusty northwesterly winds. Plenty of sunshine with a high temperature up to about 73 today. I'll mention the small chances, some isolated showers, mainly over eastern Alabama this evening and tonight, with the overnight low temperature in the lower 50s. Wednesday's high up to about 71 with sunshine. Then expect another warm-up as we get into Thursday and Friday with highs in the low to mid-80s. Then cooler again by the weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Feeling the pressure of high credit card rates? ASE Credit Union has you covered with a low 1.99% APR on balance transfers. Move your balances in March or April and lock in that 1.99% rate through your October statement. Visit ASE Credit Union today. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. 5 of the suspects in the 2023 deadly Sweet 16 party shooting in Dadeville could sign plea agreements this week. The suspects are charged with 4 counts of reckless murder and 24 counts of first-degree assault. The plea hearing is scheduled for 9 a.m. Friday morning. Any plea agreement would require judicial approval. Alabama's House of Representatives had passed a bill that would set a framework for rounding in-person cash transactions. House Bill 545 would provide a standard for rounding the total in cash to the nearest nickel. The bill now moves on to the Senate. Lawmakers are out of town for the remainder of the week. The session will resume March 31st. Governor Kay Ivey is reminding families about the upcoming deadline for the Choose Act School Choice Program. Open enrollment for Alabama's School Choice Educational Savings Account program ends later this month. Families may apply for the 2026-27 school year through March 31st, with award notification scheduled to be announced April 15th. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Welcome to Eclectic Coins, Montgomery's largest coin dealer, specializing in buying and selling investment-grade gold and silver coins. And they have a large selection of rare coins and coins from around the world. Visit them at 543 Northeastern Boulevard or on the web at eclecticcoins.com. Eclectic Coins, where collectors who know go.
Hi, I'm Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop Wellness Center at 8161 Vaughan Road. You know, with over 30 years experience in natural wellness, I've seen countless health fads come and go. A few years ago, we added a patented technology that actually activates your stem cells. It reverses the aging process at the cellular level. However, you do need proper hydration and targeted nutrition. At the Herb Shop, our advanced scanning and testing technology allows us to accurately assess your nutritional needs and get a customized plan for you. Come in today and see what the Herb Shop can do for you.
Are you a fraud-paying American? 1 in 4 tax-paying Americans have been victim of identity fraud. With LifeLock, your identity, if it's stolen, they fix it guaranteed or your money back. And last year, billions in refunds were stolen. Could be from your salary, overtime, or second job. Gone. But this year, you don't need to stay a victim. Because this tax season, fraud-paying American is something no American should have to claim. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms do apply.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Welcome back, folks. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Got a full studio, but we also have the lovely and talented Madeline Cannon with Alabama Home Mortgage joining us over the phone. Madeline, how are you?
Well, hey, good afternoon, guys.
Good to hear from you now. How's it going there at Alabama Home Mortgage? What's going on today?
Well, we've been busy over here. I'm taking a moment to come up for air and talk to you guys. We're really in the weeds of getting everybody pre-approved to buy a home this spring.
Excellent.
So for those of you that think you may want to sell your home, I do have a message for those that are already homeowners. Inventory is low. We've got so many buyers just sitting, waiting on the sidelines, ready to buy, but they're waiting for the right one. So as a seller, you're going to have leverage because the inventory is low and buyers are ready.
But, I mean, why do I need to get pre-approved? Can't I just, do my own thing and kind of, use the free stuff that's out there and, I can start shopping on one of these websites and stuff? I mean, why get pre-approved in the first place?
Well, as I like to say, the output's only as good as the input, and you don't know what you don't know, right? So when you're working on these mortgage calculators on websites, oftentimes you either enter incorrect information or they're providing you with what I call boilerplate numbers that may not even apply to you. So I definitely think it's worth your time to go ahead and talk to us here at Alabama Home Mortgage so you know exactly what you're getting into and have no surprises.
And then after you're pre-approved, you can really have confidence when you actually enter into the market.
Yeah, and then that seller knows you've already taken the steps necessary to ensure your financing. So when you submit that offer with an Alabama Home Mortgage pre-approval, they know they're not wasting their time or yours.
Now let's talk veterans real quick. I still think there are a lot of veterans who are buying into myths out there that, well, the VA mortgage is like the VA healthcare system. It's broken, or I already used my VA mortgage benefits, but y'all are still offering a lot of the latest with the VA mortgage, right?
That's right. As a certified veteran lending specialist, we keep up with the latest and greatest that the VA loan program has to offer. And you're absolutely right, Joey. There's a lot broken with the VA system, but there is nothing better than a VA mortgage. So even if you've used your VA eligibility in the past, or let's say you own a home right now with a VA mortgage, that does not hinder you from using your VA eligibility to purchase another home. So we can walk you through that process whenever you're ready.
Now, perhaps you're like, maybe you're like politicians, like you have property here in Alabama, but you're thinking about property in Tennessee or property in Florida. Y'all actually service those areas as well as Georgia, right?
We do. We're licensed to handle a purchase transaction or a refinance in Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and Tennessee.
So, folks, I really encourage you to start the conversation today because it really is just getting in the right position. It's not like you're going to call up Kim and Madeline and they're going to sit there and pressure you to go buy a house tomorrow.
Right.
No, they're trying to get you the best possible deal. And literally, I remember years ago, I talked to Kim and she goes, Joey, you have no credit. So here's a plan of how to actually build and actually work for the future. And I know y'all treat people well, and that's why so many folks keep coming back.
Absolutely. We work on your timeline. We want you to be confident and comfortable in your decision to purchase a home.
Well, folks, that number to start that conversation is 567-4223. Again, 567-4223. Or you can always apply online, and y'all get in touch right after at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. NLS number 158668, Equal Housing Lender. Before I let you go, did I miss anything, or you got anything you want to share about, the sourdough and all the stuff we've been talking about over the last year?
Well, don't forget that between now and the end of April, so between now and April 30th, if you finance a purchase with Alabama Home Mortgage, we will cover the cost of your appraisal.
Ooh. That's a good savings.
Get on
That's
top
right.
of that, folks.
On average, $600.
Yep, exactly right.
You got Eddie's attention, all right. And, folks, save money, hundreds of dollars. Save money now. Well, I appreciate it, Madeline, and I hate that you're busy, but I love that you're busy, too.
That's right. Y'all have fun for me.
We'll do it.
Thanks, Madeline.
Thanks, hon.
Again, that's Madeline Cannon with Alabama Home Mortgage.
Best in the biz.
And, again, we have a packed studio here. We have Andrew Sorrell, state auditor for the great state of Alabama. He's running for re-election. It's because they're in session. He can't raise money, right?
No, I can. So the law is you cannot raise money while the legislature's in session until 100 days before the primary.
Okay.
So when session started in January, we were blacked out. When it hit 100 days, which was only a couple weeks later, we were back in window.
So if folks want to donate to your campaign or volunteer,
I can legally ask.
How can they do that?
AndrewSorrell.com. SORRELL. AndrewSorrell.com.
Yeah, in that opening segment, we went over like how you're coming in like under budget. You requested less money. You're improving the technological capability to go from a 5-week to a 2-week process with a lot of these audits, and accounting for over $1 billion of property.
Yeah, and we relocated the staff. I'll tell you a quick story. I won't tell you. I don't know what you want to talk about this segment. It probably wasn't this, but I'll make it quick. So back in 2008, the auditor's office did an audit of the governor's mansion, and the governor was missing a vacuum cleaner.
Okay.
One of those expensive, like, rainbow vacuum
Oh,
cleaners.
the rainbow.
Yeah,
Yes.
like the
okay.
$3,000 vacuum cleaners, So they're like network marketing vacuum cleaners now or something.
Exactly.
Hey, I don't know how the governor ended. Maybe the governor signed up for network marketing.
Who got her? But yeah,
But it ended up on the state of Alabama's property rolls. And I was told this story by my longest term employee who is actually retiring April 1st. Her name is Kathy Lynch. She's been fantastic for our office and hate to see her going. But anyway, Kathy told me this story. She came in with Auditor Samantha Shaw. And so this is back in 2008. The governor is missing the vacuum cleaner and does not get a perfect audit. Apparently this upset or embarrassed the governor, and the governor, according to Kathy, kicked the auditor staff out of the Capitol as retribution for this. At least that was her opinion of what happened. So now the auditor herself was always in the auditor's office was always there, but all the staff was kicked out. So they went over to rented space in the State House. Then we ended up in the RSA Union building, subleasing from Ethics. I mean, we were all over the place, blowing taxpayer money on rent. We were getting a good deal on it until the Ethics said, well, we don't need to re-up this space because, we're not using it. We're subleasing it out. We're just going to rent less space from RSA next time. And so they said, you're going to have to contact RSA directly and work out a new lease with them. And by the way, you got to be out September 30th. Well, this is February.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, I've got 7 months to find a space to go. And I thought, well, where can I rent? So I asked RSA how much it would be, and it was going to be triple the rate that we had been paying to Ethics. And I was like, we can't afford that.
No.
So I thought, well, you know where I could put us that would be free? Back in the Capitol. But I got to get the governor's approval. So I go hat in hand, meet with the governor's chief of staff, and I said, look, we've been out of the Capitol for 15 years. Nobody even really remembers the reason why, other than my one employee. I didn't tell her the story. Yeah. I didn't remind her. She didn't know why we weren't in the Capitol. I said, can you clear us out some space? Is there anywhere in the Capitol we could come back? And a couple days later, she called me. She said, good news, I've cleared out some space for you. It's in the basement, but you are back,
back in the building, right?
And I said, well, as long as the rent's zero, we'll take it.
Here.
I don't know that my staff loved coming back and working in the basement, but...
Did you get a parking space?
I got that's another good story.
Yeah.
When Jim Ziegler was stirring the pot as auditor, the auditor lost all of their parking spaces, including Jim Ziegler. He lost his parking spot as well.
Yes, he did.
You said it was high school in Montgomery? No, it's more like kindergarten.
Yeah, dude. Some of the stuff is... I try to stay far, far away, just aloof from the whole process. But even being down there once a week on Jeff Poor's show, you just you hear things. Like people last year, I'll just say, were assuming I was like working behind the scenes with Anthony Daniels on the overtime tax thing. I'm like, no, I just think it's a good idea. I don't.
You're probably sick of hearing me complain about it.
Guys, I might write things that are germane to what you're doing that are my own independent idea. Yeah. Perhaps that sometimes happens with people that write op-eds in Alabama media.
I told Anthony that was the best bill that passed in 2023. Yeah. And it was a Democrat-sponsored bill. But you know what? If a Democrat wants to cut taxes, I'll support him every single time.
I'm sorry, but I'm all for it. Where's my Republican Party?
And by the way, cutting taxes on the people who are working the hardest in Alabama.
Will get me going.
Brilliant. It was brilliant.
Well, and now they've brought back Lomax is bringing back a new overtime tax cut, but it's capped at $1,000.
Come on, guys. Fiscal impact of that's $37 million a year. The fiscal impact of the way it was $300 million a year. I like the 300 idea way better. That's going to have way better impact. But anyway, so Jim Ziegler loses his parking spot. He ultimately gets his parking spot back. But my staff didn't have parking spots. Oh, no. And we're bringing more staff back to the Capitol, and now they're going to need parking spots. So I was like, oh, shoot, I've got to go talk to whoever it is in charge of Capitol parking and ask for parking spots back. So I asked my staff, I said, well, where are y'all parking? And they said, we're parking at parking meters. Oh. I said, you're kidding. You're running out there and putting a quarter in every 2 hours? And they said, no, we have state vehicles, so they won't ticket a state vehicle, so we just kind of leave them there. And I was like, oh, my goodness, we're going to get towed.
1819 needs to report this immediately.
So I said, well, who's in charge of parking? And they gave me the name of the state senator that was in charge of it. Thankfully, it just so happened he's a good friend of mine.
Good deal.
I'm not going to tell you who it is,
So I go and see the guy, and I said, hey, listen, I'm here to talk to you about parking. And he just starts laughing. He thought it was so funny. And he's like, don't worry. He said, I'm going to take care of you. You're going to get all your parking. He called to his secretary. He said, hey, take care of Sorrell. Get him all the parking spots he needs. And I said something like, so you were the one that took him away, huh? And he's like, yeah, it was pretty funny, wasn't it?
He was just waiting for you to show that joke, right?
Well, my staff didn't think it was funny. But anyway, we got all of our parking spots back, so all's well that ends well. Anyway, I've tried to do a good job as auditor, getting the office reestablished, cutting the budget, and I didn't take a state vehicle myself, so nobody, when I give tours of the Capitol, I say, let me show you a very important state artifact. And we're walking around the outside of the Capitol. I said, this is a 2007 white Ford F-150 extended bed. And people are like, why are you showing us an old pickup truck? I'm like, because I did 63,000 miles last year and you didn't pay for any of them. Yeah. This is a personal vehicle. Oh, okay. And they always appreciate that.
Heck yeah. Good always having you here. And I want to shift to this story. I'm sure some folks have seen it. But a well-known figure in competitive cornhole is identified in reports as a quad amputee champion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no arms.
No legs.
No legs. And somehow he's world-class in cornhole.
Have you seen it, the action of the cornhole? Did he throw the bag pretty good?
Yeah,
he's got some little nubs.
Not as
I
good
mean,
as
he's
he shoots, but pretty good.
All right,
Better shot.
He has a lot of abdominal strength. I'll put
I
it
bet
that
he
way.
does.
All right, like he knows how to manipulate it.
Okay.
A lot of
Well, that guy,
solid.
Again, quad amputee, no arms, no legs, now faces a murder charge. The case centers on allegations that remain under investigation. But Dayton James Weber, 27, has been charged with the murder of Bradrick Michael Wells, also 27, following a contentious argument. Of course, the person at the center of the case built a reputation through resilience and skill. Competing at a high level without the use of all four limbs requires a lot of discipline. And yes, ab strength, core strength. But the idea is that he shot him. And people are like, how does a guy who's a quad amputee shoot somebody? And so folks are like, I don't believe it. No way. But law enforcement officials have confirmed that Weber is in custody and that the investigation remains active. Details surrounding the alleged crime are still being developed. Authorities haven't released a full account of events leading up to the arrest, but what is clear is that the charge itself carries weight. Murder cases move through the system with scrutiny, and the process ahead will determine the outcome based on evidence presented in court. And so, like, a lot of public reaction's been like, what is this? Given his background, like, again, how does a guy with no arms or legs shoot somebody? Others, of course, saying, no, this is very, very serious. Well, video surfaced. So let's present it.
Oh, boy.
Of this fella, Weber, the guy who has no arms or legs, loading and firing a pistol.
Yeah.
And it's only 25 seconds here, and he seems pretty effective and competent with it. Let's watch this. He's kind of holding the gun with his legs, nubs of the legs.
Yeah. Making it work.
Did he just rack the slide?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Accurate.
Looks like he's got pretty good control of that thing.
He does, but once he's hitting down range, I didn't see a target or nothing.
Yeah, and it looks like he has like one little digit there.
That's the trigger finger.
That is
everything finger.
Like you think in this world of ours, you've seen it all now with the internet, and then you go, okay, that's something new. I've never seen that before.
I have not ever seen that before.
Who brought him the gun, though? If you hand it to him, like the guy he shot, did he say, hey, would you go get my pistol for me?
Yeah, and again, we're waiting on the police to give a full timeline of exactly what happened here. But
the slowest getaway.
So
ever.
it needs to be a semi-automatic weapon. He couldn't do a revolver. I bet. I don't think he could load a revolver. That's bullet by bullet.
And I will point out too
that speed loader.
The magazine was already loaded when
that was what I was really hoping to see is that fine getting that bullet in there.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
Yeah,
but it shows he can shoot it.
Yeah, he can shoot it.
And it just, I don't know, like the circumstances probably have to be he already had the firearm on him. They say it was a heated argument. He must have already had the gun ready.
He's going to wish this video didn't exist because nobody would believe that he had done it unless this video existed. Yeah.
Anyway, a lot of people are like, what? Quad amputee cornhole champion kills another man by shooting him with a gun? How?
So they got him at the scene?
Yeah. I mean, he's arrested, and it's a serious charge, and he's still in custody.
They cuff him?
No.
What a question.
Yeah, I wonder how the apprehension.
They just take a 5-gallon bucket, put the bucket in the trunk, and drive him to the jail?
Like he was a little heifer.
Just curious. Just pick him up, put him in a bucket.
Can't believe you just asked that.
Maybe a sack.
Cuff him.
Like a croaker.
I got cuffed. I figured everybody gets cuffed.
Let's go to Clark. Hey, Clark, how you doing?
Hey, so you remember Damian Wayans on In Living Color?
Yep.
Man.
That man's not handicapped. He's handy-capable.
That's what I'm
exactly
saying.
right. That's exactly right.
I was wondering myself, can you get a mental image of Roscoe? Stuff him and cuff him, ain't it?
You can't cuff somebody like that. All you can do is just put him in a bucket. That's all you can do.
Or book 'em Dano, you know?
Or maybe duct tape him.
Lasso.
You can duct tape anything.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, well. I'm sure we're going to get to see footage of all of it. We just, sooner or later, we're going to see footage of the cornhole tournament.
Yeah. The case isn't going away by any means. Like, it's too bizarre. I mean, it's sad, too. Like, of all the ways you can go, like, how did so-and-so die? Quad amputee shot him. What?
Killed by a midget.
What?
Reckon what kind of smack his friend was talking.
That's what I'm wondering. How angry did he make this guy?
In his friend's defense, there's no way he could have anticipated this.
Yes. I mean, he might even challenge him. What are you going to shoot me?
He probably brought him the gun. Like, I tell you what, if you can actually
if you can load it, rack
yeah.
it, I'll take the shot. Oh, boy.
Well, y'all keep doing what you're doing, and I got to keep after this.
Thank you, Clark.
Appreciate it, Clark. 272-9.
No, he couldn't have done it with a rifle either.
No? But actually, it's pretty good stability. Like,
I give him that.
It's just a nub, like, and you're holding it.
But it didn't push his body over. But the recoil didn't push his body over. He's
No,
shot a few
he's
times.
got, like I said, good core control. Be a good Pilates instructor.
Be a good paperweight.
Anyway, moving on from that to my favorite topic to bring up with Eddie and the moon base.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there's a presentation today. Now,
Excellent.
Do you think we went to the moon in the 60s? The Apollo program was successful?
You've got a lot of doubts. I openly have a lot of doubts, yeah.
So you don't think it was all just staged?
I've got some more questions. More questions than answers, yeah.
What do you say, Byron? You think we actually...
Yeah,
by we, I mean the nation did.
Yeah, I mean, at some point.
Sure.
I think they pretty much did it on the timeline that they said.
There you go.
I still think that 13 was the more impressive mission.
Oh, getting back safely? Yeah,
That would
absolutely.
be impressive now if we could actually get back.
You know,
That would be impressive, too.
On the Apollo 14 mission, they took 2,000 seeds to space. And they didn't know if you took a seed to space and brought it back, could you plant it and would it germinate and still grow? And the bag broke open in the capsule. But somebody picked all the seeds back up. And in 1976, as part of America's bicentennial celebration, they sent those seeds all over the state. All over the states. Have y'all heard of this?
I have not. No, that's
okay.
Going with it.
So all 50 states got what are called moon trees.
Moon tree.
And Alabama has 3 moon trees that I know of, but almost every state still has some.
Really?
But they were all planted in 1976. One of our moon trees is in a little town called Douglas. Now, the only reason I know where Douglas is because the mayor of Douglas is running for ag commissioner, Corey Hill. Great guy. Really like Corey Hill. But anyway, I know where it's Marshall County, rural Marshall County. And
tiny town, I'd imagine.
He's the mayor and he owns a local grocery store.
Okay.
He's running for
Good
ag
guy.
commissioner. And people say, oh, Corey Hill can't win. He's the mayor of Douglas. We have the mayor of Lounsboro as our current ag commissioner, okay? Yes, you can win ag commissioner being the mayor of a small town.
Not a problem.
Rick Pate proved that.
Yes, he did.
Anyway, that's where one moon tree is. Second moon tree, Ivy Green, Helen Keller's birthplace in Tuscumbia, Alabama.
Oh, okay.
And the third moon tree is within 5 miles of us.
Where?
Goat Hill in Montgomery.
Are you serious?
You can come see. I will.
I'm going
If
to
you
check it
come,
out.
I will show you. I don't know if this will convince you we went to the moon.
No, but I would love. I love the idea of
the moon
like,
tree.
Taking those things up. Now, what type of tree is it? Is
It's
it
a
oak?
loblolly pine.
Oh,
LOBLOLLY.
I know, but they're so common.
Okay, now
I mean,
you're seeming the cool on this. What if he also offers to show you the robot lawnmower?
Oh, I'm down with that.
Right. I'm down with that.
Get with the treasurer.
Yeah.
Can't get you into the elevator.
Actually, I could probably get you in the
I had
elevator.
no idea about that story.
I don't want to get too far sidetracked here, but we have 3 other special trees on Goat Hill.
Okay.
We have the southernmost Canadian hemlock in the world.
Okay.
They're shocked that it even
Yeah,
lives.
how's it even living?
Grows. Yeah, it's crazy. We have the Washington elm tree. It is the grandson of the elm tree that George Washington took command of the Continental Army underneath.
Okay.
Wow.
Pretty crazy.
That is cool.
And then we have a laurel oak tree that was transplanted in 1893 by Governor Thomas Good Jones, who was a Civil War veteran. He was actually high up. He was a general. He was there at the surrender at Appomattox. And he went back when he became governor about 30 years later, and he dug up a tree from the battlefields of Virginia where he had fought and transplanted
That's
it to
cool.
Goat Hill. And the tree is still there. It's massive.
Now, do they
So
have
we
plaques or anything around them?
They all have plaques
Okay.
on them. Yep.
I want to check that out.
You can
That's
just
really
wander
cool.
around. Wander between the Jefferson Davis statue and
Yeah.
between the Confederate monument. All 4 of the trees are in that area.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm not trying to limit Douglas in any way, but why not Huntsville? I mean, it being part of the Rocket City, that whole thing. Like, that just
They can't
seems-
have everything, man.
Well,
You got to let
seems
little
like
towns
They
have
may
stuff
have
too.
one. There's 2,000 of these seeds. I
Oh, I
mean,
thought you said we only got
well,
3.
I only know of 3.
Okay.
There may
My
be
bad.
more,
Yeah.
but it's when I do tours for people of Capitol from other states. Like, oh, we got a moon tree in Kansas here or whatever.
Yeah.
People generally know about them.
That's
You
cool.
can Google the moon trees. Yeah.
The hunt for the missing moon tree. I actually like that idea. Let's
Better
go
than
around
Pokemon.
Hunt Vegas and see if we can find something. So, the moon trees and the moon seeds to the moon base. This is the NASA administrator, Jared Isaacman, and he's going to be laying out, the plan to build a permanent
Moon base.
moon base.
Despite some of the very real hardware and schedule challenges, we can repurpose equipment and international partner commitments to support surface and other program objectives. It's worth pointing out that shifting NASA workforce priority to the surface, which has lots of advantages for safety, tech demonstration, and science, it's really the proving ground for future Mars initiatives, does not preclude revisiting the orbital outpost in the future. We will build the moon base in 3 phases. Phase 1 endeavors to support industry by moving from infrequent, bespoke efforts to a templated approach that will generate significant learning through experimentation. We will dramatically expand lunar landings through the CLIPS and the LTV program, delivering rovers, instruments, and technology payloads that test mobility, power systems, such as working with international partners and industry on the production of RUs and RTGs, communications, navigation, surface operations, and all the science payload that can be incorporated. Phase 2 transitions from experimentation to semi-habitable infrastructure and routine logistics with the aim of supporting regular astronaut operations on the surface. It's at this point we anticipate seeing the significant contributions from our great partners like JAXA's pressurized rover. Phase 3 takes advantage of the affordable mass-to-surface capabilities that cargo HLS will inevitably provide in the years ahead and enables the permanent infrastructure necessary to sustain a human presence, such as Italy's proposed habitation module. The moon base will not appear overnight. We will invest approximately $20 billion over the next 7 years and build it through dozens of missions, working together with commercial and international partners towards a deliberate and achievable plan. Just as there was Mercury and Gemini before Apollo, there will be an evolutionary path to building humanity's first permanent surface outpost beyond Earth. And we will take the world along with us as they follow along on the NASA Moonbase website and watch the assembly through lunar relay and observation satellites.
Man, the whole presentation's got to be fascinating.
Have we sort of designated the moon? When I say we, I mean internationally. You know how the Arctic or Antarctic's got the 12-nation treaty or whatnot? Is that where we are with the moon, or is something going to break out because we're trying to plop down some sort of
I
settlement?
think there already is a bit of a race for orbit, who controls orbit, and who has assets on the moon.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well, I know
but-
that, but is there
I
gonna
don't
be
know if
more-
there's, like, I think those treaties are only as good as the paper they're written on at this point.
Thank you.
Where technology's going. And so, and the thing is, it's like, whoever controls it first is going to control it for a
couldn't stop us.
long
Right,
time.
yeah.
So we better get on it. It's kind of like the AI situation as well.
Agreed.
But fascinating stuff. The problem is, and Jared Isaacman, now that he's literally heading up NASA, he can't say this, But, we read an op-ed last week from Glenn Reynolds that, and I'm sorry, I don't know, I'd probably end up dead if I was doing a radio show in Huntsville, but there's a lot of the legacy systems for the SLS system that, has been delayed for the Artemis II launch. Mm-hmm. And you look at it and go, it's supposed to be, people call it the Senate launch system because it mandated using 50-year-old technology. Right. So all the latest stuff that Musk is doing at SpaceX and Blue Origin and so many other companies are coming online, none of that really is being brought to bear.
Why?
We have to use, because it's been a huge raving success of a jobs program, including in places like the state of Alabama.
Job program.
And to ULA's credit, they have a perfect launch record. So I'm not denying their brilliance or their capabilities. But when Congress, you have these senators, like, all due respect, Dick Shelby or Pat Leahy or all these types on appropriations, mandating what NASA has to use in order to accomplish certain missions, that's insane. And in some ways, you see this sometimes in the military as well, where this is not, it should be about the mission. And that's it. And what's the best way, the safest way to go about doing that, not what actually brings home the bacon at the end of the day. It's a shame.
Well, and there's political pressures, too, in NASA, like back when, was it the Challenger launch that exploded in 87? It was political pressure to get that thing off the ground and get it up. We're behind schedule, and it's sad. Political pressure wastes a bunch of money. Political influence wastes a bunch of money, and then the pressure costs lives.
Right. And then the completely different approach, and it's always funny when I see folks mocking SpaceX because, Starship blows up or something. They're like, that was kind of the point of our test. Like, we wanted to push it to the limit. Yeah, it's just completely different models. And I've seen the Destin guy runs Smarter Every Day, gave a talk a few years back about this Artemis program saying, guys, maybe y'all should go read the old Apollo engineers. They wrote everything down of why they engineered it the way they did. And y'all have made this overly complex. Like, why are we doing it this way exactly? Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. Sometimes you got to wonder about the government efficiency, including in incredible things like space exploration.
If they are investing $20 billion over 12 years, my prediction is that Elon Musk beats them there.
Yeah.
Elon's got $646 billion net worth.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could take a tiny fraction of your net worth, let's say 4% of your net worth, and build a moon base and beat the government to it, wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, but I can't do that for $4.
I was listening to a podcast with Elon actually on the drive in. He said his goal is within 5 years of actually having a facility on the moon to be able to produce 1,000 gigawatts of energy.
Yep.
That's his personal.
Yeah, a lot of the idea is going to be orbit and the moon, because essentially you can get direct sunlight. And a lot of these computers, like data centers, they want to run. You don't need the cooling like you do here on Earth. You don't need a lot of the heavy stuff.
That's a good point.
And you go, well, this is sci-fi. Well, look at how Starlink works, and it's now available here in Montgomery.
It's a necessity.
The first time I went out and saw 12 of those Starlink things in a perfect row, I had no idea what was in the sky.
Most people didn't.
I had to Google it.
And then it's like, well, this is so sci-fi. Look at the war in Ukraine. I am amazed, and I admit fully, I was following the wrong people. And I think everybody, because of the technology being brought to bear, has been wrong about the war between Ukraine and Russia. But you look at what the Ukrainians are doing to survive right now. They're using the latest, and often it's using Starlink capabilities, where they're creating drone kill zones a few miles behind the actual line of contact. So, the Russians have been doing this thing where they put 3-4 soldiers, tiny groups to go take villages and towns, push forward. And so what the Ukrainians are doing are completely cutting off any logistics support behind the enemy lines using just drones. Mm-hmm. And the drones are getting real-time tracking data of the entire surface. And it's essentially, if you're not in a bunker or at least in trees or something, you're in no man's land. Yeah. These drones will get you. And
they'll find you,
I hate to be hunted by a drone.
I know, dude.
Yeah.
Especially when they can now go, here's the facial recognition of the particular person we want you to go.
Have you watched that Black Mirror episode where that drone dog gets a beat on somebody? That's exactly what it's about. It's not a good future.
Gnarly stuff. Anyway, we got to hit this break first. This part of the program brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing. And they're at Cole Plumbing. They're ready to help you with big problems like a massive water leak.
Yeah.
Or something like a gas line leak, which is quite dangerous, folks. Get on top of that.
Not good at all.
And, of course, they can fix those issues with minimal discomfort to you in your home. Not going to have to tear out a bunch of drywall inside the home or dig up a huge trench in your yard to find the leak. Again, they can do it with precision and expertise. And, of course, they can help you with the smaller things like a toilet that's always running, the flapper doesn't work.
Right.
Or you got a clogged kitchen sink and the garbage disposal stinks.
Just the smelling.
And it doesn't. You turn it on and it makes a noise, but it's not doing anything.
Right.
Or it could be you just have a drippy faucet. Or it could be you don't really have a problem other than you want nicer things or new things. So maybe you want a taller toilet as you get up there in age to make it a little easier on your knees and hips as you go to do your business.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be you want to add new accessories to the bathroom, the kitchen. Cole Plumbing could help you out. Just check them out today. You can always make an appointment online at coleplumbing.com or just go ahead and save their number, especially for any emergency. 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl,
call on Cole, Joey.
We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
The employees of Adams Drugs would like to thank you for trusting us with your health care in 2025. We look forward to serving you and your family in 2026. You will continue to enjoy the same services such as immunizations, compounding, medication therapy management, delivery service, and wellness clinics, to name a few. Looking for that perfect gift for a loved one? Visit our Emily B. gift shop and find everything from Tyler candles to Scout bags. Gift wrapping is available. If you have not visited Adams Drugs and experienced the award-winning customer service, we ask you to consider us for your prescription care in 2026. We have 12 convenient locations to serve you in the River Region. 8 in Montgomery, 1 in Wetumpka, Prattville, Millbrook, and Pine Level, Marbury. Please find us at adamsdrugs.net for the location that is nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local, independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
This is your roving reporter, and today I'm talking with a political activist.
That's right, man.
And could you please explain to us your red cap with the letters MMRGA?
Yeah, man, this is my MARGA hat.
MARGA?
Yeah, man, that stands for Make My Retirement Great Again.
I see.
And to do that, what you need to do is call David Ernest,
the asset preservationist.
That's right, man. You can call David at 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-SAFE.
And I understand that's a toll-free number.
Yeah, man. Get David Ernest on the case, and your retirement will be great again.
And you make these hats?
I do. Here's a whole pile left from the last administration.
And they say CPWABD.
Yeah, man. Corn Pop was a bad dude.
And as you said, there's a whole pile here.
Well, there wasn't much demand.
I can dig it. Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
Attention River Region business owners. Local counties are now inspecting and enforcing backflow prevention requirements. Headley Plumbing is fully certified to install, repair, and test backflow preventers, helping you stay compliant and avoid costly violations. We've been serving the River Region for decades with dependable professional service you can trust. No membership, no contract, just fair, reliable service. Call Headley Plumbing at 285-3667 or visit headleyplumbing.com. In our business, a flush beats a full house.
Headley Metal Buildings has been your source for quality metal buildings in the River Region since 2007. Carports up to 24 feet wide, RV covers, storage buildings, even a sturdy metal barn up to 54 feet wide. Your structure can be customized, installed on level ground, and comes with a 20-year warranty. Let Headley Metal Buildings help you find the perfect solution. Financing available. Call 285-3667 for details or find Headley Metal Buildings on Facebook.
Alabama weather will never fail to surprise you. Our lawns hardly get a chance to have any downtime. This year, save the hard work and aggravation and call Alabama Lawns, the River Region's leader in weed control and fertilization services. What makes Alabama Lawns the River Region's best? It's the people. They have the experience, education, and commitment to customer satisfaction. Ask your neighbors. Alabama Lawns has been the Montgomery Advertiser's Reader's Choice Award winner 14 years in a row. The Alabama Lawn staff is made up of long-term employees and agronomy graduates, and the staff at Alabama Lawns attend annual continuing education classes. It pays to have someone that knows southern grass types and how to keep them green and flourishing. Call Alabama Lawns today at 272-7171 and let them show you real value in lawn maintenance service. Alabama Lawns, the company with black trucks and green lawns.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather.
We've got some cooler air funneling into the state today on gusty northwesterly winds. Plenty of sunshine with a high temperature up to about 73 today. I'll mention the small chances, some isolated showers, mainly over eastern Alabama this evening and tonight, with the overnight low temperature in the lower 50s. Wednesday's high up to about 71 with sunshine. Then expect another warm-up as we get into Thursday and Friday with highs in the low to mid-80s. Then cooler again by the weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank, serving families and communities since 1906. Proud to be named 16th best performing bank nationally in their asset category by American Banker. Learn more at cbsbank.com. CB&S Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Now let's go right to the phones and talk to Crawdad. Hey, Crawdad, how you doing?
Yes, sir. You guys always got me thinking about things. You go so fast. So one thing that I'm trying to remember, you were talking about legacy technology and NASA.
Yeah.
Okay. R&D, research and development. When Eisenhower had told American people, beware the military-industrial complex, I think it's a bigger thing than just military, because during that time frame he was talking about, what got us through where you had even like Singer Sewing Machine Company got a contract to produce, there's 150,000 units, I don't remember the number, of a 1911 pattern pistol for the war effort.
Mm-hmm.
That was a Singer company. Another one that got a contract, military-industrial complex, was the Union Switch and Signal Company. That's all they made was the switches that went on the railroads. You had up the train ahead of time, and you turn the switch so that this one says red or green, and the train would go. That's all it was, Union Switch and Signal. They got a contract to produce thousands of units of a 45 for the war effort.
Yes.
The war went away, but these companies are like, wow, we locked that money. How do we get some more money? It's more than just military-industrial. We, as Americans, we have to figure out who's going to pay for this research and development to get us into the future, not keeping alive on keeping the legacy old tech that you were talking about that got us up. We are now in a generation where it's brand new. All that legacy stuff is not even going to work for us. But a question for you guys. Either of you heard of three guys that formed a company? It was EE&G. Those are the last three letters of their last names. They were brainiac guys, research, and was working with magnetics and gravitational. You don't hear anything, but that was a big-time thing. Skunkworks was working that stuff. Does this ring a bell, EE&G?
Yes.
Does that sound familiar?
It does.
Does it really?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not the only one? Yay!
No, and the problem is often, like, this idea that it always has to be the private sector is not necessarily right, in the sense that the Manhattan Project in particular is one of the most successful, ventures ever done technological scientifically. And there are many spin-offs from that have continued to be incredibly successful. And, you see the early beginnings of what Silicon Valley built into. The problem becomes more where the good idea, the next generation comes in, and you're not going for the cutting edge anymore. You're going for the full employment program. And, you can ideally do both. You can offer a lot of employment to a given state through a politically funded project. But I think the Musk of the world, now Bezos and so many others jumping into private, have shown they can really get the job done and get it done well. So let NASA focus on the latest cutting edge, to your point, as opposed to being stuck with the legacy system.
I think what you were talking about is, yes, we have to take the reins off and let the horses run.
Yeah.
Private can get this done because what you said, Shelby, is like, it's almost like the lobbyists are all going to go, who's got that drawstring on the money bag? Shelby and others. The legacy relies still on the politics
of course.
Who has the purse. I don't care about that because sometimes this research that we don't know about that's going on right now, still, we don't know about it. Who's paying for it? We are.
Yeah, but we do a lot through DARPA.
Yes, yeah, and there's still cutting-edge people in the government, and I appreciate the call, Crawdad. You're kind of breaking up there a little bit. But the idea is often you don't just defund a lot of these institutions, especially, think of Alabama, like a lot of major institutions in North Alabama. You would know this better than I, Andrew, in many ways, probably. But you don't get rid of them. You make a new deal, so to speak. Like, we're going to do business in a different way. We still want you to exist. We want you to do well, but we need to get back to a mission-oriented thing, and we'll see. It's, I wouldn't say my deep expertise, but I find it interesting when you wonder, why is Artemis taking so long, this next launch? You're like, oh, okay. There are some political legacies that has very little to do with actually the big brains that are the true rocket engineers. Anyway, 272-9228 if you want to jump in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228.
I watched an Elon Musk interview about a year ago, and it was a question of, well, we've already been to the moon, so why does it take longer to get to the moon the second time than it does the first time? And, we've already done it. We already know how to do it. So why is it taking so long? And Elon's answer was really, really interesting. He said people have this mistaken idea that once technology evolves, that we retain that knowledge forevermore.
Right.
And that is not true. And he says more knowledge has been forgotten than we'll ever probably figure out. And he pointed to examples in history like, for instance, how do you build the pyramids? We don't have a freaking clue how to build the pyramids, even with modern technology.
Yeah.
And people 4,000 years ago were able to figure out how to do it without the technology that we have. So clearly, knowledge is not just retained and continually built upon.
Right.
And a lot of the scientists, the people who put us on the moon in the 1960s, are gone. And a lot of that knowledge died with them.
Yeah, and just imagine if the Library of Alexandria isn't burned down.
No, right.
There is just so much, and that happened a lot in human history. And even with our modern tech, you're right. I think this is partly what's happening with us is that there's probably what the Apollo program did, it's stored somewhere, maybe even digitally. It's there, but it's not embodied. It's like you don't have a person who really is in it deep, has even got a whiff of it, or there's no incentive for them to actually learn that stuff. And so we kind of outsource it all to machines in the digital world, and yet when it's time to actually build something, it is a bit lost. And I don't know. We'll see where this goes. In a way, I think it's a fascinating project and can bring people together to sort of look at the stars and let's make this happen. And also, there's a lot of money to be made. If you're doing massive, essentially, mining operations, and there's so much that can go on, as well as the AI data centers, if you're doing power production and that sort of thing on the moon, as well as in orbit. It'll be interesting to see it play out. And I guess there's a new interview out. Lex Friedman just sat down with the head of NVIDIA, the CEO of NVIDIA. That should be interesting to see where all this is going. But back to our earlier discussion, it really did shake up, I think, everybody that's interested in energy in general. So there is one thing that keeps happening in this state where folks are worried that all these data centers will up their power bill. I think it's a fair worry. But then they get really mad when a company like lays down their own solar farm to power their thing instead of pulling off the grid. And so it's both are just a big issue. And
yeah, you know, when I was interviewing with the Farmers Federation, I was going around to, I think I made it to 62 of their 67 county meetings, and I was in Lawrence County, and the Farmers Federation people sat me down, and they asked me a question. They said, how do you feel about farmers selling their land off to data farms, to solar farms? And I said, it's a free country. They ought to be able to sell their land to whoever they want to sell their land to. That was my answer. He said, that's actually the right answer. He said, a lot of people give us the wrong answer and assume that because we're a farmers federation that we're against converting farmland into solar land. But actually what we're for is the farmer. We're for the farmer's rights. And I thought, wow, that's so true.
Yeah, private property. It works.
Yeah. And we had a resolution at the Alabama Republican Party 3 weeks ago against these data centers. And to be honest, I was planning to vote for the thing. And it comes up and I start debating it. And I'm sitting there with a friend of mine who I go to church with. He's on the state executive committee, and he leans over and he says, hey, are you voting for this? I said, well, yeah, I was planning to. I mean, I'm worried about power bills going up just like everybody else, you know. I'm fine with the data farms coming, but I don't want to subsidize them.
Right.
That's my thing. Like, I just don't want to subsidize them. He goes, well, you know, my company, his dad owns Matthews Industries there in Decatur, huge company. And he said, our business has tripled. Our orders have tripled because all these data farms, solar farms, are putting in orders with our company. They make like metal products. They one time had the contract to make all those like blue USPS postal boxes you see all over the place, the drop boxes. They used to have that contract. Like, they do big work. And he said, I'd appreciate it if you'd vote no on this. He said, my company is booming because of this industry. And I thought, that's an angle I hadn't thought of. So I actually voted no. The thing only passed 53-47. Conservatives don't even know how to feel about this. My position is, bring them in. I want the power here. I want the solar here, whatever. I want the jobs. I want all the economic development that comes with it. But I don't want to subsidize the power bills. That's my only hesitation.
I think that's most everybody.
I think that's the sweet spot.
Yeah.
We want innovation. We want all sorts of vision for days, but yeah, don't do it on the backs every day.
I will even put up with the annoyance. I'm a private pilot. You're flying. Sometimes when the sun hits those things just right, you cannot see in the airplane. No. Yeah. That is another problem. We'll get past that.
Well, we're going to hit this next break, short break here. But first, as part of the program, brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And they're Pest Pro. Get in touch with them. Get on their monthly subscription model, and it's a basic pest control package. And on top of that, you can add termite protection and inspection. Mosquito protection. And they're already starting to hit.
Yeah.
Like up around the lake.
We're seeing them all over the place now. So Ashley and them are coming up next week. So we'll once again be nice and relaxed on our deck. No mosquitoes, but we'll listen to our neighbors slap each other as they slap mosquitoes off each other.
But Pest Pro, like, you got to look at where's the momentum, where's the big mo. And look at Pest Pro Services and the success story they are coming out of the pandemic. It started with Ashley and Zach.
That's exactly right.
And now they've got a whole team. And you see these beautifully wrapped trucks. It always makes me smile when I see Pest Pro Services moving around the area. So get in touch with them. And again, it's a great, reasonable way. You can actually control cost around the year for whatever your pest control needs might be. And with spring now here.
Okay, this is what's going to happen. Somebody's going to lock a possum in their garage or their attic or their storage room. They're not going to know what to do. Call Ashley and Zach up. They've got a plan for you. They can take care of that for you.
So y'all check out Pest Pro.
Call Joey. Now, that would be fun, too.
No, call Pest Pro. Call Pest Pro at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always learn more at ppsriverregion.com or just search for Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro. That's Pest Pro Services, great sponsor here of the program.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
This is Jennifer Pestruccelli, General Sales Manager and co-owner of Blue Water Broadcasting. We're home to 7 radio stations at a rapidly expanding digital marketing platform, and we're looking for our next great sales professional. At Blue Water, you'll build customized campaigns that include radio and targeted digital marketing solutions. You'll prospect new clients, manage your own accounts, and work in a fast-paced, creative environment. Media or digital sales experience is a plus. Send your resume to jobs@bluewaterbroadcasting.com. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, ride for free. E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, ride for free.
At E-Bike Oasis, we're more than just Montgomery's best electric bicycle store. E-Bike Oasis offers free 1-hour electric bicycle rentals and a full-service electric bike repair shop. Stop by E-Bike Oasis in Montgomery today for free rentals, repairs, and electric bicycle brands in town.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back, folks. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader, Andrew Sorrell, State Auditor Sorrell, and Byron Sheehy still here in the studio with us. And let's go to Sam for this quick segment.
All right.
Hey, Sam, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, Joey. Thank you for taking my call. Andrew, Eddie, it's always a pleasure.
Always.
Yeah, that's right. Dang straight. It's always be closing pleasure.
That's right, brother.
A couple of things that y'all were talking about, I could mouth off to, but I remember strongly, though, 2008, me and a friend and his kids, we were over in Titusville, over on the Space Coast, and got to go through the Astronaut Museum, and they've got one of the two surviving Saturn V's on display, and which is cool because as a kid I built the Revell model, that 3-foot tall Saturn V with all that crap. Anyway, and grew up on that. That was part of I'd always did book reports on how to get to the moon and back, and so it's I'm a hardcore believer. But what I was going to say though, there at the Saturn V inside the museum, they had one NASA engineer, older gentleman, and he was there to answer anybody's questions. Of course, I've got some smart questions, but I just wanted to get in the rover and ride around. I wanted to know who had the key. But yeah, man, they had a full engineering operation. It was on display, but it was the engineering copy of the rover. It was just complete nerd out coolness. On the news recently, I saw we're here in Troy about money. Our Lockheed Martin, they're getting $110 million. They're going to build another hangar. They're going to make more Tomahawks and whatnot, which is great. But I'm comparing that to what I saw this morning. I caught a news report about the investment in Huntsville. Lockheed in Huntsville, they're getting $1.2 billion. I love that. With the FBI moving into Huntsville and the Rob, I haven't been up to Redstone 20, 30 years, but it's just like 63 square miles of just wonderfulness. But it's anyway, I'm just sharing that though. There's massive investment in that.
Oh yeah, we can do both, but I don't know. My basic frustration is I get when the best and brightest and the folks that can actually accomplish the mission are being held back by folks who have, say, other concerns in the accomplishing that goal. That's frustrating to me.
That's absolutely. It is, man, because information and technology should flow. It should be free. Well, it shouldn't be free, but it should be used to better us all. One last thing. Data centers, man, they get a lot of bad press. They're getting not only with the people worried about the power, but also the RAM situation. I've got 4 or 5 computers I need to recycle, and they're still full of old RAM. I bet they're worth a fortune now. And what they're saying is the data centers, they get first priority on the contracts, so they're buying up a lot of the computer supplies. Nothing fun. I just wanted to share that. We got guys enjoying the show.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sammy.
Yeah.
See you, bro.
We got a whole other hour left, folks, and before we hit the top of the hour break, this part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson, the Goodson Group, and they're at the Goodson Group. Whether you're looking to buy or sell property or a house here in the River Region real estate market, you need to go with the Goodson Group. They have been helping buyers and sellers in the Montgomery and surrounding areas for about half a century now, and not only can they help you at the Goodson Group buying and selling property, but they have management services available should you want to rent out your home. So if you want to learn more about their experience, just go to thegoodsongroup.com or give them a call direct at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. And be sure to tell them Joey sent you.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Amid ongoing missiles and airstrikes, progress of diplomatic efforts to end the war in Iran remain lost in the fog of war for now. Meanwhile, Secretary of State Marco Rubio is set to head to France this week to sell the Iran war to skeptical G7 allies and look for more in the way of assistance. It's turning out that confusion apparently reigned at New York's LaGuardia Airport Sunday night when air traffic controllers allowed fire trucks to cross an active runway to assist a troubled jetliner. And the controllers involved say they may have made a mistake, but investors stress it's too early to speculate about the exact cause of the collision that left 2 pilots dead. The crash happened when that jet was landing and struck the fire truck. The 2 pilots died. More than 40 others on board were injured. On Wall Street, a mixed bag. The Dow up 35 points. At this hour, the NASDAQ is off 140 points. This is SRN News.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free, no-risk consultation. 800-292-7875. 800-292-7875. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-292-7875.
Rich Thomas Weather brought to you by M&M Outdoors. Book your stay today at MNMCampground.com for relaxation at its best. It's easy to find and hard to leave. M&M Outdoors, your home away from home.
Rich Thomas Weather.
We've got some cooler air funneling into the state today on gusty northwesterly winds. Plenty of sunshine with a high temperature up to about 73 today. I'll mention the small chances, some isolated showers, mainly over eastern Alabama this evening and tonight, with the overnight low temperature in the lower 50s. Wednesday's high up to about 71 with sunshine. Then expect another warm-up as we get into Thursday and Friday with highs in the low to mid-80s. Then cooler again by the weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Feeling the pressure of high credit card rates? ASE Credit Union has you covered with a low 1.99% APR on balance transfers. Move your balances in March or April and lock in that 1.99% rate through your October statement. Visit ASE Credit Union today. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
1819 News.
Alabama Secretary of State Wes Allen recently spoke in North Alabama about the status of elections here in the state. Allen told the Madison County Republican Men's Club that he has sought to fortify elections while in office and make sure that paper ballots are always used for voting. Also, that voting tabulators are not connected to the internet, and that absentee ballot fraud and absentee ballot harvesting are practices never allowed in the state. Allen also touted the fact that 186 non-citizens had their names removed from voter rolls, and there are individuals who have been indicted and arrested for violating the state's election laws, including upcoming trials in Phoenix City, Frisco, and Mobile. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Where I was living was not a great place to live anymore. I began to pray for a place to go, praying for all of these things that a 9-year-old would want. I wanted horses, big house with a bunch of people my age. I wanted parents. I wanted a mom and a dad. Before I even prayed it, the Lord had already answered my prayer with the Big Oak Ranch. Who would that 9-year-old be if she never came to the Big Oak Ranch? I would be trying to fight for survival instead of fighting to break a cycle.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
We're now finding out that a recent accidental shooting in Trinity involved 2 children of a state lawmaker. A 13-year-old boy was hit in the shoulder by a bullet after his 6-year-old brother handled a firearm that went off accidentally. The parents took the 13-year-old to the hospital. The parent of both children is state lawmaker Ernie Yarbrough and his wife. The couple has a total of 4 children. Lawrence County authorities continue to investigate this case. Oxford Police Chief Bill Patridge is retiring after 39 years in law enforcement. Patridge will officially retire on May 1st. Patridge has also served as the president of the Alabama Association of Chiefs of Police. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Y'all hear about all those politicians making money in the stock market?
Yeah, that Nancy Pelosi's making a killing.
Yeah, she is, and so is Coach.
Tommy Tuberville?
Yeah, he and Pelosi are making millions. Turns out old Senator Tuberville's trading ag futures while he's on the ag committee.
Wow, Tommy Tuberville's making a killing in the stock market.
Yep, just like Nancy Pelosi.
It's all just a big game to Coach Tuberville.
In 2024, Tommy Tuberville made millions trading stocks, just in 1 year.
Wonder what else there is.
So Tommy Tuberville is making millions in the stock market, all in the industries he regulates.
Tommy Tuberville's great at making millions. For himself.
Now I want to know.
Just how much money did Tommy Tuberville and Nancy Pelosi make for themselves in the stock market?
Why don't we ask him? Let's call Tommy Tuberville. Ask him how much money he made himself in the stock market.
And tell him, for us, it's not a game.
This advertisement is paid for by the Alabama Leadership Fund.
We get this question all the time.
Do you handle that?
Buying or selling a home?
Yes.
Commercial?
Yes.
Land or investments?
Absolutely. Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. One team.
Every real estate move. 334-322-0662.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back, folks. I'm your host, Joey Clark. State Auditor Andrew Sorrell here in the studio with us. He's been with us the entire show, and I greatly appreciate it. Good seeing you, sir.
You too. First 2 hours flew by.
Oh, yeah, it really did fly by. And like I told you off air, I didn't sleep well last night, so it's like, I'm glad you're here. But Byron Sheehy also here, Eddie Bader also here, and we got talking about it off air, so let me just play this clip. And I believe this is Harmeet Dillon from the Trump DOJ talking about the case they were making yesterday on these mail-in ballots, and especially accepting ballots days after the actual election day. Now, I'm in the camp, I don't even like early voting.
Right.
I like it being on a day. Like, it's a thing we're all doing on a single day.
Besides the military, there should be no reason that you're not voting on the day.
Right. And I think something is lost. Or say, like, you vote a month early and then something happens 3 days before the actual election.
Yeah,
I guess you can go to provisional.
You can spoil your ballot.
Yeah.
Oh, certainly.
What if you die? You've cast your vote and you're dead. Should your vote count if you're not alive?
So
on
I
election
remember,
day?
this is terrible, but I remember
you
doing
have,
Obama's thing. A lot of people wanted to vote early because they said, I wanted to make sure I could vote for Obama.
Oh, really?
Because they were at a
Wow.
certain age where they were worried that, hey, maybe God's going to come calling, and I want to make sure I can get my vote in for Obama. Yep, I do remember that specifically.
It's a mess, and I think in a lot of places it is an excuse to cheat.
Certainly.
Especially on it, like, people often think in terms of the national elections, but you start thinking about the hyper-local concerns, especially some of these big cities and, like, these bosses that run these places. And that's been going on for decades.
Well, 90% of election fraud is in absentee ballots. We know
No
that.
doubt.
But I don't want to get rid of absentee ballots. I vote absentee almost every single election. Election days are on Tuesday. Guess where I am on Tuesdays?
Working.
Capitol.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm working. So I'm registered to vote in Muscle Shoals. That means my wife and I have to absentee vote. So there are legitimate reasons for absentee vote, and I don't want to take that away from people. But I don't want to expand it any more than it already is. There is if you are not voting right now, it's because you don't want to vote. It's not because it's hard to vote.
Right.
Well, and the mass mail-out is the most insane thing. And that's
not a fan
clearly
at
right
all.
for ballot harvesting
Right.
and so many other games that can be played in that regard. But, if you request one, like, that's one thing. But here is Heartbeat Dillon laying out a little bit of the case they presented in front of the Supreme Court yesterday.
Is it legal for states to continue to allow ballots to trickle in after the official federal election day in November and count them? Or is that inconsistent with our federal election statutes? That's the question that the United States Supreme Court confronted today in a very interesting, more than 2 hours oral argument that I had the privilege of witnessing. We at the Civil Rights Division, where we're charged with enforcing our federal election laws, had the privilege of co-authoring a brief with our Solicitor General, who then argued it in court today, together with two of the other top oral advocates in the country, including former Solicitor General Paul Clement, who argued for the Republican National Committee to uphold the lower court ruling from the Fifth Circuit that indeed the practice of Mississippi, and by the way, parenthetically, many other states, of allowing ballots to trickle in and be counted days and sometimes even up to 3 weeks after an election is inconsistent with our federal election statute. So, in prior cases, the United States Supreme Court has addressed these types of issues, and Justice Kavanaugh wrote in a case in 2020 that these kinds of disparate trickling in and uncertainty and a wide swath of different kinds of laws creates uncertainty around elections and indeed undermines confidence in our elections. So we argued in our brief that because Congress has these laws that refer to an election day should mean election day, meaning the last day by which ballots can be received by the state and processed. And so here, Mississippi allows it for 5 days. Some states allow it for 10 days, up to 21 days. 8 states don't even require a postmark on mail ballots. So for those of you who are concerned about whether this would impact our military abroad being able to cast their ballots, it doesn't, because there's a special statute for that under federal law, so there's no preemption issue. And so here I saw a very spirited argument. All of the 9 justices asked questions. I think there was a distinct trend in how some of these justices were viewing this. And this isn't Mississippi's first trip to the Supreme Court. There was a case called Foster versus Love in 1997, where it was kind of looking at the opposite end of the spectrum. Mississippi had a open primary law that said that at the primary level, if any particular candidate, even a federal election, got a majority of the votes, that was the end. There was no need for a general election. And the Supreme Court held that this violated the very statutes that we're looking at here about a federal general election day. And so it's going to be interesting to see the court reconcile that prior decision, some other decisions by the court, and look at the legislative history. And so I'm really excited to see this case come out. And if it comes out the way that the United States is arguing at the Civil Rights Division and Solicitor General's office, i.e., that it is inconsistent with federal law for states to continue to process and accept these ballots after the election day being the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November, set by federal law way back in the mid-1800s, I think that's actually going to be a positive development for voter confidence in the outcome of our elections, regardless of your party, because we're going to know that final means final, and there aren't some shenanigans with a bunch of people, your neighbor or whoever, delivering a dump of ballots into the mail after the election day. So stay tuned for further developments in this case.
Yeah, and I mean, the conservative members on the court seem very receptive, but I mean, just reacting to that, I mean, what's your
Well, I mean, a couple things. First of all, she mentioned the federal law that preempts any state law on absentee ballots, and what she's referencing is UACAVA voting, Uniformed Overseas Citizens Absentee Voting Act, and that allows for ballots that are postmarked by Election Day to arrive up to 7 days later. And that's not just for military members. UACAVA people generally think, oh, military voters. Yeah, no, it's Overseas Citizens Absentee Voting Act. So there are many. Think of all the missionaries we have, for instance, that are, serving.
DoD teachers, you got everything. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting that these overseas citizens are allowed to vote at their last address, even if they don't live there anymore. So sometimes people will look at the voter rolls and they'll say, well, Bob Doe doesn't live in that house. Eddie Bader lives in that house, but Bob Doe's still registered to vote in that house. That's because that's the last one.
Last American residence that he has.
That's right.
Okay.
So some of those duplicates are still following this. So sometimes people think they found I've got I got proof election fraud right here, and so they just don't understand the law and how this stuff works. But yeah, you don't have to actually still maintain the residence at 123 Main Street to be able to vote in Prattville municipal elections. If you're an absentee voter overseas, that's the last residence you were at, you still get to vote.
Okay.
Which is a little bit weird in my opinion. But anyway, I certainly don't argue they should be able to vote in these federal elections. So the question is, should people who are here in the States be able to postmark their ballot by Election Day and have it counted the same way that UACAVA votes are counted? And the answer, I think, is no. Because they don't live overseas, and it doesn't take as long for the ballots to come. And then there was a whole question a couple years ago that popped up. Well, we don't trust the post office to deliver my ballots. Well, you know what? I don't either. So first of all, mail it early, use tracking. And number two, the Alabama legislature already solved that problem. They now allow FedEx and UPS return of ballots.
Well,
so
there you go. There you
I
go.
do trust them.
Yes.
So that has been solved. In Alabama, you got to have your ballot back by noon on Election Day. So I'll tell you a quick story. There's a girl I go to church with, and she contacted me, and she goes to college in Wisconsin. And Wisconsin has same-day voter registration. And she said, should I vote in Alabama or should I vote in Wisconsin for president? And this was on Election Day.
Ooh.
And in other words, can I go register and vote?
Yeah.
They're putting together a bus, a college. It's a Christian college. They're all going to go vote for Trump. Can I go vote today legally in Wisconsin? And I said, my first question to her was, did you vote in Alabama?
Yeah.
If you voted in Alabama, do not go vote in the same election twice. She said, I got my absentee ballot, I filled it out, and I was planning to mail it today. And I said, well, I'm going to answer your question right now. Don't mail it. It will not be counted.
Right.
You're too late. It needed to arrive, in Morgan County or Lawrence County where she lives by noon on Election Day. So I said, your ballot won't count. So I said, you need to go vote in Wisconsin. And by the way, this is also how people end up on multiple states' voter rolls at the same time, totally legally. They are college kids or whatever. They're allowed. Law allows you to vote. If you're a college kid, you can vote in the state you're from, or you can vote at the college that you're at. Either one's legal.
But not both, right?
You can't vote in both at the same time.
Right.
And that's why we need to partner with states like Wisconsin and swap voter rolls and check the last voted date
Why
to make sure
not?
people aren't voting in duplicate elections. But she didn't. She voted in one. She registered, she voted for Trump in Wisconsin, and Trump won Wisconsin by less than 1%. So I think I gave her
You did some good advice there.
pretty good advice there. But Pennsylvania, if you remember back in the 2020 election, said, well, if it's postmarked and it can arrive up to 10 days later, well, we thought Trump won Pennsylvania until what happened? The absentee votes just kept rolling in.
Whole flood of them.
Yeah, and in Alabama, our legislators take office at midnight. So if the election day is November 3rd, at 11:59 p.m., that last representative's out. At 12 o'clock a.m., the new representative takes office. Well, how do they do that if you don't have all the votes in?
Yeah, don't have the votes.
And I guess we've got a setup where we get that done. We get that done within the day.
We do. You count the absentees. Normally, they'll count them, start counting them at noon. And they don't release or they're not supposed to release the results until after 7 o'clock. But the absentee box is always the first one to come in.
Well, counted by, when the news starts that afternoon, you've got those votes.
I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
I did not know that the ballots had to be received by lunch. I thought it was just about to close the business.
Oh, yeah, because they a lot of times they start counting them at lunch. So I got a call I won't tell you who, I got a call in the primary day in 2022, and somebody had Coffee County absentee numbers for me at 5 o'clock, and I said, how do you have those? Those aren't even supposed to be released. And he said, well, if you don't want them. I said, well, no, I do want them. I'm curious. He said, well, you're winning. I said, well, great, because Coffee County is 5 hours from where I'm from. So if I'm winning Coffee County, then that's a pretty good sign for today. And Indeed it was. But no, it's so easy to vote. Look, you can request absentee ballots like 6 weeks in advance. Like, go vote, get your ballot in on time. I agree with Harmeet Dillon. Election day is election day, and we don't need to count these ballots. And by the way, the case is Republican National Committee versus Watson. And Watson, the Watson they're referring to there is Michael Watson, the Secretary of State in Mississippi.
Oh.
I know him. He's a great guy. I love him. He's wrong on this issue.
Okay. Yeah, it's also such a patchwork of rules, and maybe there's a virtue to that. Each state, regulating their own elections. Full federalization, I think, is a bad idea. I do like the idea of the SAVE Act if the Senate could actually move it through to where, because it's illegal for non-citizens to vote in those federal elections, but we have no enforcement essentially of it.
Well, if they check the box and say they're a citizen, you have to believe them. That's what the 1993 National Voter Registration Act. Right. You cannot question them. If they check the box and say they're a citizen, then boom, they're on the voter rolls.
And then I don't know, does this get confidence back in our elections? Because it's almost become, at least as far as back as I remember, especially like presidential elections, as American as apple pie to be like, no, Gore actually won 2000. Like, you know what I mean? It's like every election, it is disputed who the actual winner is, other than maybe, I guess, Bush beating Kerry.
What's the old joke? Who wins the election? Whoever counts the votes.
Yeah, it's not the number of votes that counts, it's who counts the votes. That's what the Russians say.
It is also a fascinating swing going from the civil rights era where you wanted the access. You didn't want to violate anybody's access. You wanted the openness of it. But now we have swung back to, and I think it's not just Republicans and like Trump voters. I think more and more folks are starting to realize this. You're now getting to the question of integrity. And also when you look at the districting questions of...
Oh, yes.
For instance, like a lot of people, if this does come down that they repeal a particular interpretation of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, the Supreme Court does, a lot of folks are going to think, oh, they've just taken away all the victories of civil rights. Like, no, the vast majority of the Voting Rights Act is still in place. And there are a lot of good things that will remain in place for a long time. What's happened, though, over the last, say, 50, 60 years is this outgrowth of a patchwork of rulings that I think create awful precedents in the law and unfair advantages in the law. And, in fact, group entitlements, I think that's what the Supreme Court's going to rule, that this violates the 14th Amendment. So it'll be interesting to see how this pendulum has swung back to more voter integrity as opposed to the sort of the open, transparent model that was for so long dominant in any sort of court case around elections.
Speaking of undermining election confidence, that's what one of the Supreme Court justices specifically said yesterday during the arguments was, what happens when you have a race, it's 51-49 in either direction, and then over the next 7 to 10 days, absentee ballots continue rolling in and change the outcome of the race. Everyone is going to scream voter fraud every time.
Right. Yep, all the time. And, I remember the 2021. That was a heck of a night.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Like Georgia in particular.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania as well.
What was
Wisconsin, Michigan.
Pennsylvania's number specifically was what, about double the mail-in ballots?
Yeah.
I mean, it was
and
absurd.
Then Arizona continues to this day to
Don't
be just
understand
an
why.
absolute mess.
I don't understand why.
One county.
Well,
maybe
Arizona just removed 43,000 illegals from their voter rolls a year ago, and we lost Arizona by 11,000 votes in 2020. Wow. So don't tell me that the illegals didn't change the outcome.
There's just no way.
Yeah.
What is it, Maricopa County or something like that?
Maricopa.
Yeah, and when it comes down to like these national elections with the ramifications for foreign policy and monetary policy and fiscal policy and like all these major things that affect everybody, it's like, it comes down to like some local officials, and this is just how we run our system.
Yep.
And what a fascinating system it is, for better or for worse.
Yeah. If we're looking for some election stuff to actually fix in Alabama that would make a real difference to voters, do you have Wilcox County? Is that in your listening area?
I don't.
No.
It doesn't quite go. I'm going to mention this anyway because it's important. The Wilcox Board of Registrars has not had phone service in over a year.
What?
Is that crazy or what?
That is crazy.
They're required by Alabama law. I forget the exact statute. I kid you not, the county commission refuses to provide them with phones.
You got to try to go print something out in the county office.
In Wilcox? Yeah, I know. It's sad. I mean, it's
How is that even legit?
My registrar has called me. Her name is Eugenia Stone. We've gone to the media. We've talked to local media about this. Local media has published, and they always say, "Oh, well, yeah, we're working on it. We're going to get it." It's been a year.
damn big.
They're in some kind of like temporary building while the courthouse undergoes renovation or something. But you can't just not have people be allowed to call the board of registrars.
No, just set up a few cell phone numbers. Like, just do something.
A call service. Do something.
Well, that's exactly what we suggested, was get them a cell phone service. But they have to step outside to get so they've been using their personal cell phones.
Yeah.
They have to step outside to get cell phone coverage or to send a text.
Oh, goodness gracious.
So remember when the cold front came through about a week and a half ago?
Yeah.
They were standing outside like shivering, talking on the phone and sending texts, like waiting for their text to go out.
Get
before they
a
go back
trash can and
inside.
build a fire over.
No, it just makes my mind go to like the panoply of human experience. You have uncontacted tribes in the Amazon. Then you've got Elon building a moon base up there faster than the government, and then you got Wilcox County that can't get their phones.
Can't
to
get the
work.
phone work.
I hate to say it, and I might be wrong about this, but I'm afraid it's political. Because I've got some Republican registrars in there.
Yeah.
And the county commission's all Democrat. Now, to the credit of the Wilcox County Legislative Delegation, I've contacted them. They are Democrats, of course. They were very helpful. They called the commission and said, "What are y'all doing? Get them some phone service." So they have been trying to help with this too. Like, I just want to serve the citizens of Wilcox County here. Just how can you find out what the hours are, or where to come to register, or you got some question, and then who do the poll workers call on election day? There's always
good question there. Yeah.
Oh, I moved. I'm at a different. Well, what precinct should I be voting at? Well, how do you know? I don't know. You call the board of registrars and ask them on election day.
Now let's go to Rooster on line one. Hey, Rooster, what's up?
Hey, Jerry. I want to talk to Mr. Sorrell.
Yes, sir. You're on there.
Okay. Look, if you get elected and you're in the Secretary of State's office, what you going to do about Section 286 of Alabama's Constitution?
Well, I've got bad news for you. I'm not running for Secretary of State anymore. I did that for 10 months and sadly changed races. I'm not disappointed to be running for re-election as auditor, but I did make the decision to run for re-election back on January 5th, and I swapped races. So,
Okay.
yeah, I know. Look, if somebody wants to donate $2 million to me, then I'll reconsider my decision. But it looked like I was going to get outspent in that race 3-1, so I decided to run for auditor instead.
Since you've been in public office before and you took the oath of office to get in there, well, the same question still applies. What about Section 286 of Alabama's Constitution? Do you even know what it says?
Well, considering there are over 1,000 amendments to Alabama's Constitution, I do not know what Section 286 is. No, but enlighten me, and I'll give you my opinion.
I'm just going to enlighten you right now. Okay, the reason we have 1,000 amendments is because they haven't been obeying Section 286, which is in the section on mode of amending. It don't say modes. It ain't plural. There's only one way. And you cannot do an amendment, you cannot write an amendment until you get permission from the people in an election. That's what Section 286 says. Now, they never bothered to get permission. They just write it up, throw it up on the ballot, and all the fools run down and vote for it. And so then they claim that it's legal. And it is not. It's illegal. It's breaking the law. Those amendments are phony. The biggest one that really did harm to the state was 1973. They threw out our judicial system and wrote a brand new one. And they put a title of nobility in it for the Alabama Bar Association, which ain't nothing but a private club. Now, what are we going to do about all this, sir?
Let me make sure I understand you correctly. What you're saying is that the proper way to amend the Alabama Constitution is to call a constitutional convention and not to amend it through the legislature and then put it on the ballot. Is that what you're saying?
Okay, let me straighten you out a little more. Okay, the word convention just simply means a meeting. Anytime they are together in that building, they are in convention. And if they got the Constitution on the table to be altered or changed or amended in any way, that makes it a convention on the Constitution. And so anytime they do that, they're breaking the law. Because they got to first have an election, and on the ballot it will say convention or no convention for the people. And if the people choose convention by a majority, then they can go ahead and write an amendment and then put that on the ballot. But they never bothered with the first two steps, which is to write an act to require the Secretary of State to hold an election and then put convention or no convention on the ballot. It's two steps to get permission and then two steps to put it in. Are you with me?
I'm I've never heard this before. I'm just being honest with you. I've always heard there's two ways to amend the Alabama Constitution, which, by the way, I have amended the Alabama Constitution. I'm responsible for one of those 1,000 amendments. I passed a constitutional amendment back in 2019 dealing with Lauderdale County. But anyway, the way I did it was we passed it through the legislature and then put it on the ballot, which I think is what you're saying is illegal, and we should be doing it through a convention, which you're saying that any time the legislature is in session is a convention, but I'm not sure I agree with that. There's been special conventions called. There's delegates elected to constitutional conventions, which is different than legislative delegations.
Just look up the word convention. It just means a meeting. It don't mean it's anything special other than that. Y'all you got the word session and you got the word convention and you're back and forth with those two, and they both mean the same thing.
Yeah, but the difference is legislative session, you can deal with a wide variety of bills that you pass, and the Constitutional Convention is for a change in the Constitution. So in 1901, when they redid the Constitution, they had a convention, and in 2022, we just recompiled it and we didn't have a convention. We just did it through the legislature.
Right. Well, see, anytime you have the Constitution on the table for altering or amending in the legislature, that turns it into a convention on the Constitution. And they can't do that unless they got permission from the people first.
All right, well, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go read Section 286, and next time I'm on air with Joey, we'll talk about it.
Okay. My name is Rooster.
All right, Rooster. I hope you're listening today. I'm going to go research this because you brought up something that I've never heard before. So I'll go look into it, and if you're right, I'll admit it on air, okay?
One question. Rooster, are you saying that the convention has to be called by the individual voters first?
No.
Okay.
Hold on. If you have, all right, let's say the legislature's in session, as y'all call it, and they're going to write an amendment to the Constitution. Well, if they try to do that, that makes it a convention on the Constitution, because the word convention just means a meeting.
Okay, so why not just gavel out a session and gavel into a convention?
Huh?
Why not gavel out a session and then gavel into a convention?
Rooster? Why has nobody challenged this? Why is the common conventional knowledge of everybody around here is you can go through the legislative process to do this?
Because everybody watches ball games too damn much. That's what it is. And the school system does not tell them the truth. You see, I went to Baldwin Junior High School in Montgomery, and in 1969, I had a black teacher named Mrs. Sullivan. And I had one more class to take, and it was an art class. So I took art class just to have something to do. Well, after we'd been there a couple of weeks, Mrs. Sullivan made us put all of our artsy stuff away, and she passed out copies of the Alabama Constitution to us.
Must have been heavy.
And then locked the door and closed the shades down on the door where it's got a window in it, and we studied the Alabama Constitution. And then anytime somebody would come to the door and knock, we'd have to put our constitutions away and get the art stuff back out until that person went away, and then we'd get our constitutions back out and go back to studying that. And that was in 1969, and she was doing that in a way, but obviously she wasn't supposed to do that. And so the school system is not teaching the Alabama Constitution to the students, but they sure do know all the ball games.
Well, I appreciate it, Rooster, and Andrew's going to look into this. But my cursory reading of 286 that I pulled up is like this is just regulating the manner of calling a convention. It doesn't seem to be saying anything about the other way of passing an amendment.
Well, it says any proposed Constitution of Alabama adopted to replace the Constitution of the 1901, whether adopted by Constitutional Convention, pursuant to Section 286, or by any other constitutionally authorized method, which I would argue is going through the legislature to do it. I mean, it seems to me like this is laying out two different paths. Yeah. And also, Rooster, look up Amendment 714 to the Constitution.
That's a friendly amendment, too.
he says, well, okay, fair enough. But Amendment 714, I think, is what allows the legislature to do it. If it passes both bodies by 3/5 vote, then it can go on the ballot. I think that's the legal mechanism by which the legislature is amending the Constitution.
There's only one way to do it, and it has 4 steps. 4 steps. 2 steps to get permission and 2 steps to perform it.
All right. Look, I'm going to look it up, okay?
Thank you,
I'm
Rooster.
gonna look it up.
I got a bunch of other calls rolling in here, man. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Rooster.
Alabama constitutional law, folks, on the fly. Any of it? Are you a lawyer? Anybody a lawyer in here?
I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
I've never heard that argument before.
Yeah, I have not either. Anyway, let's go to T-Spear. Hey, T-Spear, you have a question for Andrew?
I do, and I'll make this one very quick. We all saw where the various elections several years ago for Donald Trump put individual cities actually put, let me back up. If all the people in Montgomery County, all the people in the counties that surround Birmingham, and all the people in the counties that surround Huntsville were to vote Democrat, we would have a Democrat mayor by nothing but the number of votes. It makes it to where those people outside of those cities have any voice in who is actually electing our representative or our governor. Is there any way that we can use a weighted system so that an individual county that votes Republican can have one vote? I guess I'm doing it wrong.
So I understand what you're asking. You're saying is we don't want the big cities controlling who the governor of Alabama is, and is there a way to give more equal weight to smaller counties or something to prevent that? The answer is no, and this has already been tried in Alabama, not for governor but for legislature. And what used to happen is they would have like one state senator or one state representative per county, and one state representative would represent 300,000 people and another would represent 17,000 people, but their votes counted the same in the legislature. And the Supreme Court came in and said that is unconstitutional because it violates the one man, one vote, equal protection clause, etc. So I understand what you're asking, but if the rural people turn out and vote, we do outvote the cities still in Alabama.
Big time.
That's like 60-40 or so, yeah.
Turnout's the hard part.
Then I just keep beating people around here to get their butts out.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
And doing nothing.
Well, educate them before you turn them loose.
Oh, honey, you better believe that. I have signs in my front yard that tell people who I'm voting for, and I've had a lot of people drive by very slowly, and you can see them writing down who I have in my yard. Hopefully that helps.
Hey, yard signs work.
Choose the grass tops.
I haven't been edged and I haven't been rolled, so I'm presuming that I'm giving them good advice.
There you go.
The other thing that I'm looking at is my son went in the Marine Corps, came home, registered to vote in Alabama, left Alabama without ever voting, re-registered in the state that he moved to, but I still get voter registration information for him. How can I get him off of those rolls?
So great question. What state did he move to, first of all?
He moved to Texas.
Okay, well, good news. Alabama just partnered with Texas in the Alabama Voter Integrity Database, and every 2 years we're going to be running a comparison of our voter list with theirs, and that should get caught and he should be removed. But we're only partnered with about 10 states. The other 40 we're not partnered with. Now, the second part of your question is call the border registrars, or have him, better yet, have him call the border registrars, and they'll remove his name.
Well, he lives in South Carolina now, but, I've written them several times to let them know that he no longer lives here. And
yeah, they're not going to take him off with you telling it. He's going to have to call them.
He's going to have to do it. Okay,
Yeah.
not a problem.
But yeah, this is exactly how our voter rolls get messed up. Is innocent. He's not trying to commit voter fraud. He's not voting in multiple states. It's innocent. But because there's no centralized database, for lack of a better word, this happens.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, T-Spear. I got to run. I do have to hit this break. This is part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And if you're a man out there and you don't feel like a man, in fact, you're waking up in the morning, you feel exhausted, that waistline's creeping bigger and bigger, your confidence is slipping throughout the day, maybe a job you've been working for 20, 30, 40 years, and all of a sudden you just don't feel like you know what you're doing anymore. And it could be also that bedroom confidence is slipping. If you feel it, she feels it. Maybe she's being nice about it. But a lot of guys, when they start feeling this drag, whether it's low testosterone or ED problems, they think, oh, they're the only ones going through this. Not true, gentlemen. Montgomery Men's Health has been helping all sorts of fellas out Montgomery Men's Health, powered by Men's Pro. Well, to get back in the game, get their confidence back, get that energy back. Of course, they do in-person care, been serving the Montgomery and surrounding areas for years now. They get their labs done quickly, and with urology-backed medicine, they can create a personalized treatment plan just for you wherever you are in life and what is bedeviling you. And, you know, there are a lot of guys in their mid-50s, 60s, low T in particular is causing just a general malaise. Well, after these treatments at Montgomery Men's Health, they feel decades younger. Confidence back throughout life and in the bedroom. More energy in general. Hitting the gym again. That waistline shrinking again. Just check them out. They can help you too. Call up Montgomery Men's Health at 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or you can book online in under 30 seconds at MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com. Montgomery Men's Health, for every man in every season of life.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
When it comes to your mortgage, who you work with matters. And this is one decision where local makes all the difference. Don't fall victim to flashy mailers, spam calls, or 1-800-lenders who don't even know your name, much less your neighborhood. Those lenders are often sitting in some faraway state, reading from a script, and chasing volume, not relationships. A local lender understands the market you live in, or should I say that we live in. At Alabama Home Mortgage, you can look at us in the eye and trust us with one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. Local lenders don't disappear after closing day. Our reputation is built right here, one family at a time. So before you pick up the phone and call a stranger, remember us, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon at Alabama Home Mortgage. You deserve guidance from someone who knows the community because they're a part of it. Give us a call at Alabama Home Mortgage today at 334-567-4223 or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's Alabama Home Mortgage, because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
This is your roving reporter. Today I'm talking with a man from outer space.
What's up, Earthling?
I see you've landed your spacecraft over there in that field.
That's right, man.
My question is, why have you landed here on our planet?
I came to see David Ernest.
The asset preservationist?
Yeah, man. I wanted to see if he would take a look at my portfolio for me.
Well, before you make the trip over there, call him on his toll-free number, 833-596-7233.
And I understand those last 4 digits spell out the word safe.
That is correct.
Funny thing happened the last time I came to Earth.
What was that?
I went to the Walmart, man.
Yes?
And I accidentally went in the back door.
How did that work out?
Well, they stopped me and very gently told me that I needed to go around front and come in.
And then what did you do?
I said, cool, man. Take me to your greeter.
You flew millions of miles just for that.
Hey, man, I don't ride them. I just read them.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
The 22nd Annual Autism Crawfish Boil benefiting Easter Seals of Central Alabama is April 11th at Riverwalk Stadium. Proceeds from this fun family event benefit autism programs at Easter Seals of Central Alabama. Enjoy all-you-can-eat crawfish, live music, and even a baseball game. The Autism Crawfish Boil, April 11th at Riverwalk Stadium. Stay and eat or grab them to go. Scan or visit mudbugball.com to purchase tickets and get info on curbside pickup.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
When it's time to replace an old window or door, you want expert craftsmanship and proven experience. You want Davis Door & Sash. Right now, take advantage of our limited time promotion. 10% off materials on new energy-efficient doors and windows. Voted best in the River region for windows and installation in 2024 and 25, Davis Door & Sash would love to work for you. Call 334-288-6010 or visit davisdoorandsashalabama.com. Davis Door & Sash, the perfect fit for your home.
Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, where right now, get a load of this, listen close, you get a house full of carpet for $19.95 installed. Unbelievable. They're located at 6450 Atlanta Highway, just across from Walmart.
Rich Thomas weather.
We've got some cooler air funneling into the state today on gusty northwesterly winds. Plenty of sunshine with a high temperature up to about 73 today. I'll mention the small chances, some isolated showers, mainly over eastern Alabama this evening and tonight, with the overnight low temperature in the lower 50s. Wednesday's high up to about 71 with sunshine. Then expect another warm-up as we get into Thursday and Friday with highs in the low to mid-80s. Then cooler again by the weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank, serving families and communities since 1906. Proud to be named 16th best performing bank nationally in their asset category by American Banker. Learn more at cbsbank.com. CB&S Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go real quick to Mike the mechanic, who's been very, very patient. Hey, Mike.
What's going on, fellas?
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. We hear a lot in the news here lately, especially about vote stuff, the SAFE Act, voter registration, what you've been talking about a lot today. And then we also hear about the other thing that I'm not too keen on is AI.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if we could meld them together some way, and maybe even at the point of voting, the AI could screen or filter the votes, check eligibility, kick it out if it's not good. I wonder if we could see that one day.
I don't want to undermine the power of the registrars to determine who's eligible to vote in Alabama, but if we used AI to maybe say, for instance, if AI could figure out who had passed away that's still in the voter rolls, yeah, that's useful information. But I don't ever want AI to be able to remove them itself without a registrar double checking the work.
Oh, no, I totally agree. I hate to see AI take anyone's position away.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing about AI that I'm not real crazy about. But we need a supercomputer, and AI, I guess, is a supercomputer, just a way for us to, in advance know whether or not that vote should count or not. But I don't know if we'll ever
a good
get
rule
there
of thumb
or
with AI is it should supplement, it should not replace people.
Yeah, that's where we're at
Exactly.
now.
Yep.
That's what I mean. Did y'all see the Cybertruck that ran into the pole?
Yeah.
The other week. That was. Yeah, I've ridden in a Tesla that's self-driving. It's pretty cool, but until AI stops running cars into poles, I'm not going to let it supervise our voter rolls. But
I'm with you there, buddy.
yeah, supplemental, I love it.
Yeah, well, great. I was just curious about that. It had been on my mind the last few days, and I didn't know if we were going into that area or we are already.
Not that I know of.
Scratching the surface or just what?
If you caught my conversation earlier with Rooster, Google AI did agree with me during the break that there are two ways to amend the Constitution, one of which is convention, the other which is 3/5 of the legislative body, and then on the ballot for people. So at least AI agree with me there. But I'm going to look more into what Rooster said. I'm going to go read Section 286.
Well, thanks, Mike.
It sounded like he was up on his Constitution pretty well himself.
Yeah.
All right, y'all have a good one.
You too.
Thanks,
Thanks,
sir.
Mike.
And now there's one, you want to go to bat for the Alabama Republican Party here for a second, because you got a lot of folks who are kind of sore over the fact that they got kicked off ballots, and they're making all sorts of noise about it. Who's this one guy, Doc
Mancuso? He's from Lawrence County, Moulton area, and he's bashing the Republican Party today on Yellowhammer. Ballot denials in Alabama spark talk of conservative, independent third party.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I want to dive into this real quick because I'm tired of the Republican Party getting criticized when they made the exact right choice with Doc Mancuso. Across Alabama, many conservatives are looking at what the Alabama State Republican Party Steering Committee is doing and saying it feels like the party is eating its own young. The only people saying that are the people who got kicked off the ballot. No one else is talking about this. But there's like 3 people who got removed from the ballot, and they're trying to stir the pot on Yellowhammer.
Goodness gracious.
A steering committee claims to want growth, openness, and new blood instead of blocking multiple Alabamians from even appearing on the Republican ballot. Okay, again, there are valid reasons all these people were removed. It's a complete reversal of the party's message that everyone is welcome and we want more people involved. Well, like I say at our church, like if I'm a Baptist. Yeah. Let's say that we had a Hindu come into our church and get saved and accept Jesus. Praise the Lord. That's wonderful. Am I going to make them let them teach Sunday school next week? No,
probably not.
No, I'm not. So yes, we
Probably
welcome
not.
you into our party, but you have to prove that you are actually a Republican and support our principles before you're on our ballot using our name to run for yourself. Okay, I was denied Republican Party ballot access after enduring a vicious and unprofessional hearing by the Alabama Republican Party Steering Committee. Well, I wasn't in the meeting. I'm no longer on the steering committee. A ruse designed to make it look like the process was fair when the decision had already been made beforehand. Nothing I could have said or done in the hearing could have changed their minds. Well, that's because of what you said and did before the hearing. The reason Doc Mancuso was removed from the ballot was because he ran as a Democrat in 1998, and by the way, was elected as a legislator. In 2002, he chose not to run again because he admitted to beating his wife.
Oh my God. Ooh.
Yes. And then in 2008, he ran as a Republican. In 2014, he ran as a Democrat for state Senate. And now in 2026, he wants to run as a Republican again.
He's just trying to get elected for something. Man's
Yes.
trying to get a job.
The reason Doc Mancuso was blocked is because you've already swapped parties 3 times. That's not unreasonable at all to deny you ballot access.
Yeah. Well, and also just on the face of it, like, and everyone is welcome. We want more people involved is not, again, a free lunch to your point about, churches are open to people. All sorts of folks want to be open, but you also need to have standards for your participation in any group.
And we've been generous to these people. You remember Parker Griffith?
Yeah.
He's a Democrat congressman. He swaps parties at Christmas, runs against Mo Brooks in the 2010 Republican primary for Congressional District 5, loses, turns around and swaps back to Democrat and runs for governor. That's what these people are doing. These people who are being gracious and letting them swap parties and run under our ticket, when they lose, they go swap back.
Yeah,
it's like these people don't really stand for anything.
Yeah, that's too much of a mess. And it does sound like sour grapes. And, no offense, I've never even heard of this guy. And they act like this is like the most important thing in the world. I'm like, no, I think if you look into some of these complaints, you're like, as you just laid out, there's good reason why you were denied that.
And he says we're not following our own bylaws. Okay, well, I got a problem. I'm the bylaws chairman of the Alabama Republican Party, and I can tell you, they have not violated the bylaws at all. Everyone has this mistaken idea. We have a 6-year rule. You have to have not donated to a Democrat, not run in a Democrat primary, not supported a Democrat openly in the last 6 years if you want to run as a Republican. That's the rule for everybody, from dog catcher to U.S. Senate. That is the rule. Okay? But that rule does not say that on 6 years and 1 day you're okay. That's not what it says. It says at least 6 years, or it says for a period of 6 years is an automatic denial. After 6 years is subject to the discretion of the steering committee. Yeah. So Doc Mancuso is outside the 6-year window, and he thinks, I'm good. Well, no, you're not. You've got you can't swap back and forth 3 or 4 times. That's also not reasonable for us to let you do.
Now I'm wondering if he's read Section 286 of the Alabama Constitution. But I got to hit another break here before I do. Again, this part of the program brought to you by Dillon Rings, and they're at Dillon Rings. Josh and Leslie Wright are ready to help you with any and all of your jewelry needs. Great inventory they put together there. High-end everyday jewelry items. And, of course, they can do repair work, spa treatments to freshen up that jewelry you wear all the time to make it look brand new, to shine and shimmer like it's brand new again. Of course, the custom design work and working with Josh firsthand myself on a project. Guy's amazing. What an artist and a little bit of a mad scientist in a very good way. Whatever your heart desires, he can make it happen there with jewelry. And, of course, they're just easy folks to work with. So just stop by 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway, and be sure to tell them that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
We know the businesses that keep our communities moving. We walk the same streets, shop the same stores, and support the same local families. Janney King franchise owners take pride in caring for the places they keep our hometown strong. With dependable service, attention to detail, and commitment to doing the things the right way, more businesses are choosing Janney King as their trusted local cleaning partner. Visit JanneyKingCleans.com today.
Janney King, the king of clean.
Are you a fraud-paying American? 1 in 4 tax-paying Americans have been victim of identity fraud. With LifeLock, your identity, if it's stolen, they fix it guaranteed or your money back. And last year, billions in refunds were stolen. Could be from your salary, overtime, or second job. Gone. But this year, you don't need to stay a victim. Because this tax season, fraud paying American is something no American should have to claim. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Visit lifelock.com. Terms do apply.
E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, ride for free. E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, ride for free.
At E-Bike Oasis, we're more than just Montgomery's best electric bicycle store. E-Bike Oasis offers free 1-hour electric bicycle rentals and a full-service electric bike repair shop. Stop by E-Bike Oasis in Montgomery today for free rentals, repairs, and electric bicycle brands in town.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1, WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. We're going to have to fly here. We've got Cousin Vinny real quick. Hey, Cousin Vinny, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How y'all doing?
Good.
Pretty good.
Hey, I just wanted to run something when you're talking about the voting stuff and voting rights and all that. I just saw on YouTube a Dan Bongino cut, and he said that in the state of California, they had over 450,000 illegals registered to vote. And the way they found it out is they were called for jury duty, and they were disqualified because they weren't American citizens.
Wow.
And what really worries me is other sanctuary states or other states have done the same exact thing.
Yep.
Because that sounds to me like a big Democratic scam and what they've been striving for with the border being wide open all this time. If they've just recently found 450,000 in California, how many more are out there that are registered to vote?
Absolutely. And then you think just even at the local level, it goes to the highest bidder inside the party, essentially. You can move these votes around in whatever way you like. It's pretty insane. Well, I appreciate it, man. I'm out of time, but thank you for being patient.
Thanks, Cousin Vinny.
And this part of the program, we couldn't get a hold of Ray Bowles, brought to you by Prattville Carpet.
That's right.
And they're Prattville Carpet, any sort of flooring you need. It's carpet, of course. They can even cut you a new area road.
They sure can.
But, of course, traditional hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, ceramic tile for the bathroom or the kitchen.
Right.
They can help you across the board. Just call them up at 285-8117. They'll come in and do a free in-home measurement. Then you pick out your product, and it gets done. Just that simple.
Easy.
Again, that number, 285-8117. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie Souls on the radio sent you. And let's remind folks again, thank you, Andrew, for being here. State Auditor Andrew Sherrill. Been here all 3 hours. And if folks want to help out with your campaign for re-election to be auditor, continue to be auditor of this great state, how can they do so?
Yeah, please go to andrewsorrell.com, Sorrell, and Andrew Sorrell for State Auditor on Facebook.
Well, this did fly by.
Sure did.
So good seeing you, man. And
you too.
Let's do it again soon. We'll be right back with Happy Hour and Pamela.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.